wants a turn. He leans in hard, let the hot takes burn. Protest on the ticker, riot in the thread. He talks over the chaos with a raised up head. Yell a little louder, make the point land clean. Cut through the noise like a headline machine. If they come for the room, he comes right back. One more clash and the whole beat snaps. Hold up, here he comes. Hands in the air, let the verdict come. No more hush, no more shade. Spin City live and the whole place sways. Spin City, Spin City. He don't play it safe. Spin City, Spin City. Bringing fire to the face. MAGA on the mic, and he says what he means. Spin City, Spin City. Shaking up the scene. Spin City. When the mics get hot and the comments fly, he laughs at the noise and he calls it live. One more round, let the sparks go wide. Spin City standing on the right side. Spin City, Spin City. He don't play it safe. Spin City, Spin City. Bringing fire to the face. MAGA on the mic, and he says what he means. Spin City, Spin City. Shaking up the scene.
Hello, welcome everybody. This stream is going to be a little bit different than what we were talking about earlier. Mr. Balderson and I have come up with a stream 2.0. Mr. Balderson, sir, how are we doing tonight, Mr. Balderson?
Had a headache all day after that just fucking wildfire of a fucking panel last night.
Oh yeah, what time did you guys get done with that?
Well, it was 4:00 California time, so
That's 7:00 Eastern time.
Poor Sarah wasn't going to bed. Like, she looked wrecked at the end. She was wearing a hoodie, and I mean, you could see it. Like, she was beyond. Like, holy shit! That's the sun is coming up. It is no longer last night.
No, we have listen. Howard, good to see you. Look what Howard says.
What's up, Howard? Oh, I know, right, brother? Holy shit, that one last night, freaking wow.
What you had
good stuff.
We had like almost 30,000 views between us both or more.
I had just on my channels, I had 25,000.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying combined, yeah. We had a lot.
Yeah.
We had a lot. Howard, good to see you.
I think it was probably more because freaking I hit like 25 myself.
Oh yeah, yep, probably, yep. Oh yeah, so I'm just getting the stream set up. We've got some panelists in the back. As you know, Mr. Balderson, I just ended the stream over on America Rising Media, the panelist on America Rising Media. So the name of this stream, Balderson and I came up with in like 30 seconds because I was like, Ben, you got to come in here. I don't feel right. So white people are the devil versus Chud the Builder 2.0. I'm going to go ahead and drop the StreamYard link. If
Did you
Mr.
get a hold of Clay?
What?
Did you get a hold of Clay?
Yep. He's just waiting for the link. Mr. Balderson, if you will put up your goal. I know we have you for a little bit of time, but we also obviously want to hit a goal for you to be on here. If you want to join the panel and talk about last night's good panel. It was a good panel. Very, very good panel. I'm going to drop the StreamYard link right now. It should come over to the Benjamin Balderson channel as well as Spin City News. We are live on the Benjamin Balderson channel and the Spin City News channel as well as Spin City News over on pilled.net. Ben, that last stream that I just did, man, it could not have went any better. I mean, it was very, we tried to structure it. And we welcome Clay to the family over there. It was great. Nice. So I just dropped the StreamYard link into the chat. Give me just 1 second. I will pin it, as well as Mr. Balderson will pin it to his streams. And
no, I just pinned Howard saying that you did great.
Oh, okay. All right.
God's what's up, Howard?
Yeah, what's up, Howard? God's favorite aunt just came into the back. Balderson, it is your idea. It is your panel tonight. Give us a rundown of what you would like to talk about and why, and then we will bring the panelists from the rear up to the slosh.
The original thing that Spin brought up to me was just kind of just rehashing and talking about last night's panel, which was definitely wild. I'm not real big on rehashing. Like I'm usually, I was there the first fucking time, hail Odin. But last night's was wild. We had, Sarah had a guest on, Captain Tazariak, and he's a Hebrew Israelite. Black Hebrew Israelite specifically. They're the ones who put that on there. And so his prompt was white people are the devil. And this drew some heat, and that was a wild ride the entire night. The stream lasted like 12 fucking hours. I was delirious by the time it was done. But it, along with, instead of just rehashing it, my idea was a stream that I've wanted to do for a while, and something that's caught attention is this Chud the Builder case. And so anybody that isn't aware of Chud the Builder, he's this redneckish dude. He walks around wearing a Stetson, big mustache, walks around calling black people racist names. And then when they get pissed off about it, he says that they're chimping out, which is what Captain Tazariak last night. This is why he kept saying that, because that's become like a real thing. Well, that people say. So this guy eventually in a restaurant gets thrown out of the restaurant because of who he is, which is understandable. I'm a very it's your business. If you don't want somebody in there for whatever reason, that's your business. So he gets thrown out, but then also somehow the business owner calls him in for not paying his tab. Well, you can't throw him out and nail him for not paying the tab. That's ridiculous, because apparently he didn't even get served all of his food. Anyways, they give this guy a $1.25 million bail. Or no, at first this case, it was just a normal one. He comes out of court for that. And some guys come up to him. They were waiting for him to be done with court. They accost him. We'll go through the details of that later, but he ends up shooting a guy and getting rearrested. But apparently the guy was assaulting him. And then they put a $1.25 million bail on him. They put gag orders on him. They do a bunch of things that, we'll discuss in the panel, but let's bring everybody up. And
we're going to bring, all right. We have pretty much a full house back there, Ben. I don't know. We have Kevin's Chaotic Coffee from Pill.net. We have Brick, Clay. We have the Mick. We have For the Win. We've got Hard Talk Toasty. We might get a cam from Toasty tonight. We have God's favorite and Asbaroon, as promised. Good to see you. I apologize. It took a little bit more, but I had to get myself refreshed from 2 hours of sitting.
What's up, buddy?
It's okay.
Hey, Asbaroon.
Hi.
If you'd
Hello.
like to join the panel, please click the link. It is over on the Benjamin Balderson channel. Also, it is pinned in the chat over on the Spin City News chat, as well as pilled.net. Gentlemen, it's been a long time no see for most of us. How are we all doing tonight?
I saw all of you last night.
I know, and I was like, damn.
I know. I like
Asmaroon, good to see you.
Yeah. Spin City, I have a
Yes.
question for you. Who
I
was
have
that
an answer.
person? Yeah, the person actually, like, who Sarah was, who was the host on Sarah's show. He said the white people are the devil, right? What's his
Yes.
name exactly?
Captain Terry
Victim player.
Captain.
Zariak.
Excuse me.
Zariak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terry
I called him Captain. We can also dub him.
Teriak's whiter than all of us. So
Asmaroon, we can call him Captain Cringy. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, fine.
Hey, Spin, real quick. Hey, Clay, did Spin hire you into his YouTube channel? Are you part of that now?
I'll let Spin answer that.
Well,
He's got a better answer than I do.
Well, when I'm doing the panelists and stuff like that, I'm paying attention to a lot of different things, right?
So you need a little help.
You need a little bit of help. So I asked Clay. I said, "Hey, Clay, we have really good chemistry. We work well with each other. We make each other laugh." And I said, "Hey, Clay, would you be willing to come and just give me a hand on the streams?" And he, as a good friend that he is, yes, he said yes. He prayed to his higher power and said, "Yeah, I think I can do that." So again, welcome, Clay, to the America Rising Media family, sir, and the panelist.
And congrats, Clay. Real quick, Spin, what the fuck is a bootlicker? Is that someone that agrees with people no matter fucking what, like at their ideologies?
It agrees with the system. So like the boot comes from jackboot, the big black shiny jackboot that the authority wears. So you're an authority appeaser.
It's more of a slur to thrown at anybody who isn't immediately against the state, basically.
I got you. Yeah, that one cat called me a bootlegger. He doesn't understand where I'm coming from. I think that's
in all fairness, you kind of are a bootlegger.
How so?
Because you think you think that certain rights aren't just inherent.
That's just
I'm not saying we don't deserve them, but let me give you an example. This is a good jumping off, even though the title is something different. But what I'm saying is, you shouldn't base your morals on rights. Like if there was a right in the Constitution that said you can whoop your woman every third Thursday of every month, is that a good right to have?
No.
All right then. Yeah. I think the real bootlickers are the motherfuckers that base their morals entirely on rights.
You're coming up with a right that isn't an inherent right. It's like I said, it's somewhere in the middle. You've got God-given or inherent or natural rights, and then you've got rights that are granted to you from the state. So I'll give you a perfect example, and I know you can't deny this.
Well, no, you already gave an example, a perfect example, and I'll agree
Ben,
with you.
I got to finish setting things up.
The right to life, happiness,
you're in charge.
The pursuit of happiness, and what else? The third one?
Yeah, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So
yeah, that right there, I totally agree with. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's another one that came before all of those, and it's called divine right of kings, right? Now, your king, if you're a Christian, is Christ. Now, other people have their version of the divine
I am a Christian,
the divine right of a god, right? That their God is the one who has the right, the power, the authority. The authority itself is the right. So that's where all your rights are derived from, through delegated authority, right? So if you are talking about constitutional rights, that's a different thing. But particularly in the Declaration of Independence, it laid out 3 specific ones. And then in the Constitution, there are certain ones that according to the founders, which I happen to agree with, are inherent, and specifically the First Amendment, those 5 freedoms, the right to believe what you want to believe, religion, speech, say what you want to say, press, write what the fuck you want to write, right? Use your fucking bodily autonomy, go where you want to go as long as it's in public, that so that it doesn't violate people's private property, and then the right to petition your government for a redress of grievances. So you are asking your governing body or governance, whether it's Christ in heaven or some other governance, hey, can this change? And that's well established within Christianity. So every one of the freedoms established in the First Amendment are things that are established within Christianity, and they are inherent rights.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, so one more time, a bootlicker is somebody that agrees with the system.
Well, a bootlicker isn't necessarily, so there's more to that than just someone who just agrees with the system. A bootlicker will back the system based on that it's just the law. Oh, it's because it's the law.
No, I'm the opposite. Like that's what I was arguing with E about. Like he and that dude Effigy, like their whole argument is it's a right. I don't give a fuck if it's a right. Like I gave an example and someone said it's wrong. It's not inherent. But yeah, I would say I'm the complete opposite.
I would say
I
you're
base
more
my morals on Christianity.
Yeah, I would say you're more under divine inspiration. You're
like you
coming from a
on,
mindset of divine inspiration, which I agree with. But I don't want to get stuck on this. I know the panel's supposed to be about something else.
All right, let me just say one quick thing. Yeah, you down. Sometimes I don't always clarify. Yeah, like you said, our country was founded by Christian ethics, and that's where we derive most of our rights from, and that I 100% agree with. We can build a foundation and on morals on rights. We can't strictly go off of rights because they can change, or some rights may be bad. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, we can change the subject. Go with the prompt.
Yeah. So with that, how about we go around? So what the main focus of the discussion is going to be whether the treatment of Chud is proving racial bias in the court systems reversibly, in the fact that he was given a fairly extraordinary bond. They're having hearings on whether his bond can even be fulfilled. So I'm not sure what the point to even giving him a bond was, because apparently he's raised the money to be bonded out in a couple different ways, and they're trying to act like that's not good enough. And then putting things like gag orders and other things like that on him, whether this is legal, constitutional, and whether it's proving biased. We'll start out with Kevin.
Okay.
Well, you're the first in the clockwise order, so it wasn't to pick on you.
Yeah,
I can skip you and go. I'll reverse you.
No, I'm good. I'm
right,
thinking.
all right.
Okay, so let's see. Let me shift into intersectionality mode here. Considering the current political climate of what is happening abroad, considering grievances across different cultural lines, if I retaliated against every person who ever called me a faggot, oops, are we on YouTube?
Oh, don't. Yeah, we're on YouTube. Don't say that again, please.
Oops, sorry.
Don't say that word again.
Just say a bundle of sticks.
If I retaliated against anyone, all the people in my life who have ever given their opinion vehemently from their core beliefs and such, I'd be very busy, and it would be an incredible waste of my time. As far as Chud, to my understanding, he was conducting a social experiment testing the limits of the First Amendment. if I'm understanding this scenario in its real sense.
Yeah, I would agree that that's at least what he's stating that he's doing.
But is that his intent, though?
We really couldn't. I mean, you can definitely take your own personal stab at his intent, but I mean, there's no way that we could actually guess his intent. He states that it's about the First Amendment free speech rights, but there's definitely a lot of you could take a lot of shots in the dark on whether that's true or not.
I personally would not be bothered. I know who I am. And I would. For one, I find it to be an interesting experiment. If it was indeed an experiment, it's an interesting one. Is it necessary given the history? No, it wasn't necessary. And at the same time, let me consider that I don't know his background. I don't know his history. I don't know his life experiences. I don't know what his drive was. And I can only speak for myself. I personally would not conduct such an experiment because I know the end result already. You anger people and you run the high risk of receiving consequences due to provocation. So he did his FAFO, and now he is embroiled in a legal battle, which he should have had the understanding of knowing the risk of ending up in that situation. I mean, he's an adult. He's not a teenager. It's not he hasn't been living under a rock his whole life, I would presume. So I think I'm going to leave it there because I don't have enough information on his core to understand why he conducted this to begin with.
Very good. And look forward to hearing from Clay on this one.
Yeah, sure. And the thing for me is, so I am a 1A absolute, right? I understand that there are a lot of things that are lawful. But with that said, there are things that are lawful that are not beneficial. So I say it on streams all the time. All things are lawful, but not all things are beneficial. That's actually scripture. That's what I go by. I believe that you should be able to say anything that you could say on an island by yourself. However, we're not on an island by ourselves. We are in a society, and the courts have repeatedly ruled that there are things that you might consider speech in your own privacy, like fire in a crowded theater, that are not actually speech. That is an action. That is considered an action because it is inciting. It's an inciting thing. Originally, it was from Chaplinsky as fighting words, and then later narrowly tailored to inciting words. And I know that it's beneficial for me within a society to have that type of, it's not a limitation, it's just not free speech. That is not protected speech. So you can do certain things that you might think, oh, yeah, that could fall into the category of legal, but it may very well be inaccurate. And that is why we have the court system. That's why they've probably considered things like gag orders and a higher bond and things like that, especially considering his social media status. I'm sure that they considered that, things like GoFundMe's exist and things like that. So, the courts here in the U.S. are designed to, they're not always going to act in this way, by the way. I'm just going to say that. But they're designed to produce the result that the people want. There are loopholes built into the courts. I know we discussed one of the craziest ones over on the last stream on Spin's channel, and you know those things, those not legal things may very well be beneficial for us in the long run. I'm gonna leave it there.
Very good. Kraut Mick.
Boulder, one more time. If you can explain the situation real quick. I got the gist. I just want to make sure.
Not a problem. Like Kevin was explaining, this guy went out and, according to him anyways, was conducting a First Amendment experiment, saying that you're allowed to use any legal speech, including racial slurs. And so he would go up to people, to black people specifically, use racial slurs, and then if they got mad about it, he would say that they were chimping out. He also did things like, if they came after him, pepper spray them. He would say that he had a gun. Well, this escalated into the point where, because of the infamy that he gained out of it, where he was removed from a restaurant, had to go to court because he didn't pay the bill on that removal. On his way out of court, he was assaulted by some black men, and did the whole exchange the way he normally does. Well, he pulled a gun, shot the guy that punched him, and apparently he was falling down, and he pulled out the gun, shot the guy, and now he's been arrested for attempted murder, things like that. And above and beyond a normal, like a bond that you would expect, like a couple $100,000, he got a $1.25 million bond. They did a GoFundMe to raise the money for his bond, and they did raise the money for his bond, the 10%, not 1.25 million, the 10% required for a bondsman. The court said that because he's in there, they wouldn't let him access the GoFundMe. So then he got, I believe, a sports betting company to put up his bond. And the court has decided that they're not sure that they want to let anybody pay his bond for him. So I'm not even sure why they wouldn't have just pulled his bond, period, if that was going to be the case. But then also, if he's allowed to be out, if they decide he can get this bond, then he's also gag ordered, can't do any YouTubes, can't speak about anything. So is this prove that there's a racial bias in the court? And also, is this constitutionally legal?
I have a question, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, Ant.
I don't know a whole lot about this case, so forgive me. But I heard something that to the effect that he pulled the gun out after he was on the ground. Like,
yeah, that's definitely one of the factors that's coming in on whether this is going to be self-defense. I've seen conflicting reports on it.
Well, that's a big factor, because if you're 100%. On the ground, the courts consider that as you cannot escape.
Yep.
So even though they're not armed necessarily, you can't escape the situation. So there's nothing to stop it from turning lethal.
Yep, it's definitely escalated the danger level you're in, for sure.
Especially if there's multiple attackers. If it was one-on-one, he'd have a weaker case. But the fact that he's on the ground with multiple attackers strengthens his case for self-defense. It doesn't matter if we like this man or not. Like, the character of this man does not matter when it comes to the self-defense. Shitty people are still allowed to defend themselves.
Yes, I 100% agree.
I just want to I'll just add one thing in there, and then as like the panel goes on, I'm sure more information will be brought to the case, and I'll be able to add more input. But Balder, you said at times when he would go around doing that dumb shit and he would mace people coming after him, right?
Yep.
Yeah, see that right there. Like, if you have a type of weapon when you're knowingly going out to provoke shit, I don't know, man. That's kind of iffy. It seems like he was just looking for trouble, for fucking clout. So I mean, but yeah, it's really not good for him. But like I said, that's all I got. I'm gonna wait for more information to be brought up as the panel goes on, and then I'll probably have more things to say about it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kraut. And Varun, how you doing, brother?
Fine. Thank you for having me on your show, Benjamin Balderson. And even Spin City as well. Since both of you are doing it together, thank you for having me on your show. I just feel that the system is, again, there's a lot of racial bias, because you compare this case to Carmelo Anthony. He fatally stabbed Austin Metcalf to death, and his bond was just some $150,000. Plus, he was allowed to attend prom. I mean, not prom, sorry, his graduation ceremony. And then he used racism as an excuse to justify his actions. Here with Chud, actually, even though what he did was provocative, it still shows that they're biased towards whites actually over here. Other races somehow have learned this loophole of using racism as an excuse to shield themselves and take advantage of whites whenever this happens. I've noticed this happen many times. That's my opinion, Benjamin Balderson.
Very good, Varun. Thank you very much. I don't know how to pronounce that first word, brother. So I'm not gonna try. Please tell me how I should be pronouncing it. But something son.
It's roguish. It's
roguish. Oh, I see. I see what you got going on there with the way you spelled it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate. We appreciate you we appreciate you coming up. We just don't want to butcher too many names at a little time. So
I don't know if you can say this motherfucking name right next to me with this hairline. You should say
name. We've known Varun for like a year. So you're just. Yeah. I've never met you before, and I didn't want to slaughter your name.
I can dig it. As far as it goes with Chud, hey. I'm from the old school, right? In the early 80s, we didn't really have this problem. Even as elementary school kids, we ain't had this problem like that. Now, I'm from Oklahoma, North Tulsa. We was smashing every time. And we grew out of that. And y'all got more comfortable or whatever. Now Mexicans is that comfortable. Asians that comfortable. Everybody want to flex their American. You know what I'm saying? Shit to offend us or something. And I don't know. As far as his bail, he tried to kill somebody. What the fuck? That's the way that the law works. You know what I'm saying? If you escalate something into something egregious, as opposed to just, you know what I'm saying, fleeing the scene, he went there to agitate, got agitated. You know what I'm saying? He kept his life or whatever. He get pieced up. It's all good. Motherfucker put out a gun. Coward. So, you know what I'm saying? He get what he got. If anything, I'm thinking we still supposed to be smashing on y'all motherfuckers. Fuck the law. We 40 years later past that. If y'all that comfortable, we past the fight stage. If you go there looking for somebody to agitate your life, you should lose it. Now, fuck the courts.
Absolutely. God's favorite aunt. Your opening statement, sir.
I could have jumped the line. Why'd you let For the Win and Toasty go?
All right. For the win, you have been conceded to, sir. Your opening statement, please.
Hey, guys. Thanks again for having me on. It seems like we've seen a lot of each other today, Spin. So thank you for doing a third show today, I suppose. So I just was... Yeah, I was looking at this case the other day a little bit, and then I just re-looked at it again because, you know, there's always those developing details that come out every day. Ben, I just saw too that initially the bond, it was 1.25 million. They did reduce it to just a flat million. So regardless or not, it's still
that was generous of them.
Yeah, right. You know, I did see too, like it was like a sports betting, a crypto agency offered to potentially put it up. They don't have like the framework of it, it sounds like, and then it also sounds like the court is deciding whether to even allow it or not. I think with this case, you can kind of break it down into two parts, where there's the thing that he already does with the race baiting part of it as one avenue of it, but then with the shooting, this was a gentleman, I believe, that came after him out of court. This is a different thing away from what he's already doing. So
he was on the courthouse steps. Yes,
he was. Okay. So that's another conflicting thing into this. And like when you kind of marry the two things together, if this gentleman wasn't doing what he was doing, would you have had this guy, scoping out the courthouse, waiting for him afterwards, kind of a thing? So I could see it going really either way. I think it carries a lot of precedent in terms of like how streamers are, should operate. Is this going to be allowed going forward? But also my question really revolves around why did this go to a grand jury right away? Do you guys know that? Or what can you explain what a grand jury ultimately is for the audience?
Anytime that it's a felony charge, it has to go before a grand jury. So that's standard operating procedure. And grand juries are pretty garbage, because in the grand jury, typically what's going to happen is the state's attorney or the district attorney is going to go in front of a panel. He's going to present basically what he is claiming his case to be, without you being able to offer any type of an explanation or alibi or anything. And then after he gives his evidence, then they decide whether that was sufficient enough to put the warrant out and charge you for the felony. In the court system, the joke is they can indict a ham sandwich, because the state's attorney gets to sit up there and say anything that he wants.
Sure. Okay. And the other thing I would like to point out that's interesting is that it is in Tennessee. It is a red state. And when you have something like this happen, if it happens in a red state versus a blue state, what are the outcomes that could happen just by that merit alone too?
Well, if it was in a blue state with an illegal immigrant, they would be released right away. But I digress.
Very good. And thank you for the win. And Sir Toasty.
Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay?
Nah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you guys, Balderson, me and you talked about this one a little bit. This, if I remember correctly, this is kind of a delayed event, right? From point A to the point that Action 2 happened, correct? He stepped away for a minute.
Yeah, he had to step away for a second.
Well, I believe that, especially since it's
slightly delayed, although it actually has been in a fairly short time period. Everything happened within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, so I recognize that it's very sticky, it's very complicated, but I also think that the delay factor there is what's going to turn it into self-defense. And not only that, but that's like contextually, I guess you could say that's kind of like if one of our crazy fans went and did something really, really drastic because of something that we said, right? That would still count as like self-defense in our regards, and I think that's how it should be. I think it's a completely self-defense case. I think that he should be let go because it was a self-defense case. He has no idea what this man could have been carrying on him. It could have been knives. It could have been guns. It could have been bombs. It could have been even a strip of rice and taped to his fist or something. You know what I mean? He's got no idea what the intentions of this guy could be. Now, meanwhile, I will say that maybe what he said can be viewed as extreme to some others, but this is America. You are allowed to say what you want to say, no matter how egregious it may be. And if people want to have soft feelings, I guess, it really turns into a FAFO situation, in my opinion. And with that, I'll turn it over to whoever is going next.
All right. Thank you very much, Toasty. And with that one, that's me.
So innocent people being attacked.
What's that?
Innocent people being attacked.
Who is
weird.
innocent?
It's like y'all can't put the two together with that.
Well, I don't think there's any innocent party involved in this case.
All right, well, let Spin and I speak real quick here, Rogish, and then we'll come right back to this. So Clay made some mention to the constitutionality of this. Now, the reason that you can't say fire or you can't say bomb on a plane, things like that, is because that's something that is immediately going to cause a riot, that this public is immediately going to freak out. Everybody's going to try and run out of the movie theater. Most likely people are going to hurt themselves. It creates a highly dangerous situation. Now, does calling racial slurs fall under this? What I agree with Rogish with what he said. The guys walking around saying things to people. You fuck around, you find out. And I'm also an older guy, and back in our day, if you said some dumb shit like that, prepared to box. That's how that was going to be, and it was going to be boxing. You didn't bring a weapon. If you were going to run your mouth, you were going to go behind the woodshed and find out some things, and so that's all fine. Now, with all that said, though, constitutionally, it is legal, and so I would say that. On the one hand, this looks very bad for the court that this is definitely looking like apparently white racism is infinitely worse than all other racisms. This is upholding where, like, during the Biden administration, the entire super liberal left, where they've tried to make the white man the devil, and we were just on a panel of that last night. With a gentleman that was flat saying that, but on the other hand, the guy has went around and provoked what one should rightfully expect is going to be a violent response. You would assume that the guy's going around to people he doesn't know that have never done to him anything to him, and he's provoking them, and he's made a whole channel out of doing that. When you do that, similar to like the way people are going to Nick Fuentes' house, you got to understand people are going to get mad. And we live in a country with all those people that are mad. So you've got to expect that there could be retribution for what you're doing. Now, the court definitely is taking that into account. If we let this guy back out on the street, is this going to turn into more altercations? Look at the last time. He was in here for this not paying his restaurant tab. We let him out of court. He's on the courthouse steps and there's an altercation. He didn't ask for the altercation, but in his previous exposure to the public, is that something he should have expected? And so that's something the court, I think, probably took into account when they raised the bond. Now, if you're going to give the man the bond, I don't see where the court has any business coming out and saying, oh, yeah, we're only going to accept this money from certain people. If you were going to deny him bond and fully break his civil rights and do it under the guise of this is for the public safety, then you should have done that. Bite that bullet. Man up and do it. But they didn't. Now they're playing this really weird game, which just makes everything look infinitely worse. Now it looks like you're just oppressing this guy because you didn't like what he said. And there's nothing that you can prove to say otherwise. So you've taken it. The whole thing's a bad situation, but you've now made it worse through your actions. And the one question
he put himself out there by anybody. He put himself out there to be made an example by one of us or by the state.
I agree.
So I mean, what I don't see the issue. What the fuck? He played a hell of a fucking stupid game.
But that's not so much the question as is the court's response to it reasonable? Is that constitutional? Is that something that they could do? Is the court overstepping its bounds because of societal pressures?
How popular did his content become? Can we measure the popularity growth of his content? Perhaps maybe that was one of the factors.
Absolutely. And my last, and it would be a question that I don't believe's been answered yet that I've seen. How the fuck did he come out of court and have a gun on him? Like he
That's what I
literally
was
was walking
asking.
out of court. Where the fuck did his gun come from? That's kind of wild in my opinion. Like, how did he? I've never heard of a normal civilian being able to go into court and come out and have a gun on him as he's on the courthouse steps. How did this happen? So that
Where was this at? Logan?
Literally, the guy got assaulted on the front steps of the courthouse.
No, like what state?
I believe Kentucky.
Tennessee.
I know
Tennessee.
Arizona is
Or
open carry
Tennessee.
state.
Yeah, Nashville.
Can I
Now,
clarify
gentlemen, before we open the panel, please just remember there is terms of service on YouTube. Please just be mindful that we create this content. We allow people to come up to voice their opinion and have those conversations. But just please be mindful to terms of service. I am going to open up the panel. Mr. Balderson, are you ready for the gauntlet, if you will? Gentlemen,
get ready to rumble.
And also, gentlemen, if the host, meaning myself or Mr. Balderson, is chatting or talking, please shut up. We will say what we need to say. Obviously, when money comes in, that is a priority. So do not get agitated with us. Our viewers and our panelists are number one. Gentlemen, if you dare.
I just want to clarify. I want to clarify one thing about the constitutionality when I was speaking about that.
That's where I was going to go, Clay. Go ahead.
So when it comes to the inciting words, the court does take the totality of circumstances into factor. That also is case law, case precedent. But more specifically, if it's inciting words, it's because someone was incited. So in other words, one action led to another, somebody else took action. If somebody took a swing at somebody because of the words, then it could easily be determined that the words were inciting.
Can we make a factor of the specificity of this particular word? So this word ain't just a word.
Well,
this word got history connected to it.
Hold up, I kind of want to add to what Clay said. So let
him finish what he was saying quick, Kraut, and then you were right after, sir.
Yep.
Were you done with the specificity of the word?
Yeah, it's because it's not just any word. It's not just any offensive term. It's not just any pejorative. This thing exists in the class by itself. And the thing is, if the people who are already connected to the history in the unfavored manner have a hard time with the history and the word, then how is that anyone who's not connected to it, or those who may be connected to it in also unfavorable light, you know what I'm saying? So flippant with it. The thing is, how is it that the word, whatever the word, you know what I'm saying, First Amendment, you can say whatever fuck you want to say. And that's legal, that's lawful, but the ass whooping ain't. How the fuck the response, which ain't to be chosen by nobody except those who receive whatever word, pejorative or whatever, how that ain't just open for returning harm, if you will, right? Because it's like words aren't meant or aren't allowed to have the effect that they do have, and
words don't harm. Words on their own don't harm.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
all right, Kraut.
All right. Okay. So I kind of what's your name? My fault. Bottom of Clay.
Roguish Son.
Roguish Son. I'm just gonna Roguish. I'll call you Roguish. Yeah. All right. So I kind of agree with you. Like sometimes, if you say some wild shit, hopefully I don't look like it, but I'm 39. You know, my birthday was last month, or no, this month. So I grew up.
Are you sure that's not 49? Are you sure it's 49?
You know what? I actually thought I was 40. I had to double check my age. But anyways, Rogus, I kind of agree with you. Some people just need to get punched in the face. But Most rights, and this is what it comes down to with the case itself. Most rights are pretty straightforward. However, the first right is still up to debate on what it actually describes. Like Clay touched on it. Like you can't incite violence. You clearly can't say bomb in an airplane or all that other shit like Clay just said. But as far as words go, like I mean, let's say they make it where you can't say racial shit. And by the way, I hate racism, but I'm not going to let words bother me. Kraut Mick is a fucking racial slur for Germans.
Wait, what do y'all define racism as? Because I don't believe in racism. I don't rock with racism.
I don't either. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't.
Oh damn, we're gonna get on another thing, but race is what is it? It's not a subjective term. It's like when people gender and race are the same thing. I'm forgetting the word. It's a social
synonym,
whatever the fuck it is.
It's categorization.
Yeah,
it's an ism, and because it's an ism, it's a prison for your mind. All isms are prisms, as in a prison for your mind.
Well, prisons separate light. So
let's say they make it a thing.
You like that? It's good though, right? Like it's socialism, capitalism, all these isms. People believe in their head. It's idealism.
It sounds good, but do you believe the shit that's coming out of your mouth right now?
Look, if it's just the reason I don't believe in it is because it's just about the skin color. That's the only factor over racism and all this shit. It's skin color. That don't mean
do you know why we all got skin color? It's just
check your pilled DMs.
That's all the skin color is. That's why I don't really believe racism.
That's the caste system that was set up and everything. Yeah. My issue is the action. The thing is, no one gets to tell black people how our history or history trauma is supposed to make us feel or emote or whatever. Nobody in the world, not even the United Snakes in this bitch. That's completely cultural standard.
I'll give you a few more examples of. There's quite a few examples of words that are not legal in the category of free speech. You cannot lie on the stand. Cops and politicians cannot lie. Judges cannot lie. You cannot slander. Okay, you cannot libel. These are all categories of words that are not legal. They do not fall into the free speech category.
Cops can absolutely lie to you. I don't know where you heard that.
And that's part
the
of
court has ruled this, but no, listen. There is statute or policy against it. They're not supposed to be doing that, even though the court's going to back that idea.
Well, think about an undercover cop. He has to lie as part of his cover.
What a fluid law.
That's actually under dispute.
They're all arbitrary.
Do that to coerce.
I can't understand you, Crowd. I'm sorry.
My fault.
He said that the law was fluid, and I said they're all arbitrary. Yeah.
Yeah, like if a cop says to one suspect or two, like, "Hey, your buddy just confessed," even though the other suspect didn't say shit, and the cop is just saying that to make that dude confess, that's under high scrutiny if cops are allowed to do that. I get what you're saying though. They really shouldn't be allowed to fucking lie because under pressure, a motherfucker will confess to something he didn't do.
Okay, but no. Let's say that you could use that though to actually, what about those who are actually out there upholding the oath? And now they're not doing that state-appointed mercenary shit. It's like, all right, then, if you know for a fact that, this will solve the case and this gets somebody who actually is guilty to, fall in the trap and then you serve justice, all right, go ahead, do it. But the way that they do it, they do it like hustlers, like mob. They run over their authority. It's like law enforcement, right? What if the law is already being adhered to? What is the desired social state that this motherfucker is supposed to have for law enforcement to more show up like a peace preserver or something? Identify that, your desired social order is being adhered to, and so you don't need to show up to enforce shit. Nah, it's mob. But that's considered a harsh view of that.
So I think what we're trying to say is if the tables were, because I think we kind of got sidetracked by like 3 different fucking subjects, but I'm gonna try and bring it back unless Spinner Border wants to say the word. But I think what the ultimate question is, if it was a black guy that was going on the internet for clout and saying like cracker or you're fucking Kraut Mick looking ass, blah blah blah, and then all the shit happened to that dude that happened to that one dude, Ben Dish or whatever his name is, would they set a 1.2 or $1 million bond for that? Like reverse it. Would they treat the black man the same as they treat the white man?
Well,
if he gained a following and was able to become some form of a archetype upon the internet through social media or something, as Chud has become, then they probably would. They wouldn't. Yeah, that wouldn't make no sense for them not to.
Rogish, may I jump in for just a second? Rogish, would you mind if I jump in for just a second with Mick? Bonds are set by state, if I'm correct. And Clay, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, the feds can set a bond if it's a Fed case, but if it's a state case, then it'll be a state bond.
Yeah, whatever judge is overseeing it's going to set the bond.
Right. It is up to the Now, here is the thing about judges that I learned. A judge can set a bond up to a certain degree, or their level, or I know there's some sort of cap, right? And I think there's a set or not a sentencing guideline or a bonding guideline that they have to go. They can go to the max of what they're allowed to order, or they could give you. I mean, on this such of a case, I don't see any judge going to give them a recognizance bond. Okay, so on your own recognizance.
They usually go to the historicity of it, or not necessarily. It's not necessarily called precedent with the bonds. Yeah, they can set whatever bond they want, but then if it's excessive, according to the 8th Amendment, then you have a civil rights violation. You could sue under a 1983 Section 1983 civil rights lawsuit.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that they can't do it. They can still do it.
There's usually bond guidelines per crime.
Right. Kevin, I see your hand up over there. Did you have something to add to it?
I'm curious. What was the origin of this? Which platform was it promoted upon? Which algorithms were in place during these events? What was the psychology draw to gain a following on this? I know this is multi-questions. I'm curious, though. We live in a highly censored environment at a global scale. So I'm curious how this even got to this point. Because there are so many... This is interesting. Why?
Well, you gotta say, okay, look. When you're on the internet, if you have some form of anti-black sentiment or a neutral black sentiment, you're going to blow up, right? You can, just like people who put out documentaries on hip hop, but not attached to none of the culture, right? And they deliver as if they've been a part of the culture the entirety of the time, speaking on things that they know not, but only just through, knowing black as a cultural product. The thing is, we're hyper objectified out of our personhood. And that's always been a potential issue of just being in this system, period. We're just looking at a hyper version of that shit. Anyone, what they call the Hodge twins. Them cats is half black. And they can get an audience that follows them as if they were whiter than y'all. You feel me? Simply because they're anti-black or some shit. It's weird.
See, I don't live online. I don't live online. You see me right now online, and in my life, I don't use social media. I haven't owned a cell phone since 2008 by choice. My life is mainly lived offline. I don't understand how people have let social media algorithms and promotions of certain psychosomatics drive and degrade their core. And I'm watching it happen.
Honestly, I think really because of the internet, like back in the 90s and even the early 2000s, and before that, obviously, the mid 2000s and before, you really only talk shit or got in trouble with people around your neighborhood or maybe a couple of neighbors over, and you're face to face and you're gonna scrap. Now, I think the internet got motherfuckers too comfortable where they fucking cut up on the internet and nothing happens to them. So then they start thinking, yeah, I could probably do this shit in person.
Oh my word.
I'd like to jump in here. It's interesting I think we can all agree that in America, every single day, there's altercations, verbal altercations that happen all the time. And some of them get recorded and then some of them get put online. And then we see it, right? It's almost like done in a third party type of way. Whereas this guy is actually doing it to monetize off of it. There is, incitement because he's doing it for money ultimately. And that's my sticking point. That's where I wonder what the court would ultimately say, because is that a benefit to society at that point? Because then you can say, well, because of this dude shot another guy. I believe he shot himself as well too in the process. And then Ben, also to your point too, I've heard conflicting things where the gentleman checked in his gun into the court, and then that's how he had it out of the court. Or other people have said that he went back to his car and got the gun at that point too. So when did that altercation actually happen? I don't know. I mean, there's just so many unknowns to this that we as the public just don't know yet too. So I'm sure that that's going to remain under seal until things are decided ultimately as well. So.
Rogish, I would like you to expand, because I think a lot of people are going to be wondering, why is it you think that one word has more power than any other word? Why do you think that somehow extra bad? Can you justify that?
Only because it's the unclosed chapter that it is. I remember, because the thing is, like, everybody think that black people said that word. It was a black people word, and black people trying to claim it and shit. Nah, I ain't trying to claim nothing. Fuck that word. It's what it's connected to. I remember when black people, and I only grew up around black people when I was a kid. I didn't have integration in my schools and at the stores and all that. Yeah, but neighborhood, no. So I remember black people whispering that word only in the company of black people when they said it, like Voldemort type shit. You feel me? And it didn't get popular with black people until it got popular with everybody else. As far as with NWA dropping, make it a little bit more free, with everybody with it. But I remember when people was whispering it. If you're whispering it, why you whispering it? Who you think you're going to offend? What do you think is going to harm? It held some form of a certain meaning for people to have that type of fear with it when they had no need of having no fear to it. So it's what it's connected to. And if it wasn't connected to that, then cool, whatever. You know what I mean? But that's what it's connected to. It's connected to the most potent, unfinished business of this motherfucker. That ain't nothing to be played with. Definitely not to see, if you're going to experiment with some people, just like no different from pranking the hood. I put Chubb right up there with those who come to the hood to prank the hood, agitate niggas. All right, what do you think you deserve? You go to forward.
Yeah, freedom of speech applies to the government. It doesn't apply to your fellow man that may or may not particularly care for your speech. He's still going to act how he wants. 100%. Now, do you think that here's where the problem comes in with what you're thinking, that just certain people feel that way with this special attitude toward that word? And the problem we're looking at right now with this is that they are doing legal proceedings based off of him having said it. So is there some actual measurable and weighable way to to actually determine what you're saying, so that way the rest of the public, not just the people in this group, because I got to tell you, there's other people in other groups that find other special words very offensive. And we can see it just as I say that, how this becomes a slippery slope. This is why there's the hate speech. So many people are against that, because most people have the innate understanding that what is hate speech. So we understand that as soon as we start letting them label some things hate speech, well, look at the ADL. The ADL, if you ever look at their list of hate speech words every year and the things they add on, it's absolutely ridiculous and wild, some of the things that they put in there. And we can see if we start making laws based on that, where we can start charging people and holding them accountable for it legally, which I'm not at all saying that the dude didn't probably deserve an ass whooping, but legally, which is where we're looking at here, if we start making special precedent for certain words, then where do we stop?
Well, I don't see it. I don't see it as hate speech. I don't see it as hate speech. He
right.
Was,
that's just the most common subject based around it right now.
Right. But my thing is, it's not hate speech. The thing is, if we keep this in the egregious form, and he's this wicked white supremacist and all this shit, we totally miss everything, right? The thing is, let's just say that he was just some kid that was trying to make it, and utilize that as an avenue. The larger issue is that avenue is there. Not that he said nigga. I don't mean shit, you know what I'm saying? But if you agitate somebody, you get what you get. I don't think that he's getting the punishment that he's getting just because he said the word. I think he's getting because of the intention that was attached to it, and what quick growth he gained from that. And I don't think this is current, and I don't think this is the current political climate where you want to be permitting shit like that, unless you want it more incendiary. And things have gotten very factional. I don't know if y'all notice this now. Things have gotten very faction-esque with people's cultural identities.
Go ahead, Kevin. I know you want to jump in there on that.
No, I'm listening to Rogish, and I agree, because that's part of what is being promoted in the democratic socialist spaces and the far more radical, what is considered the left of politics. It's done in intent to drive wedges between us as individuals within our society.
Very nice.
That's by design. And it's a sick design, in my opinion. It's a very sad design.
Did I say something too on that?
Go ahead,
Clay.
Yeah, because I do actually want to read what the actual test is. So there's a 2-part threshold in Brandenburg versus Ohio. Imagine that it comes from the state that Terry versus Ohio comes from.
Right.
The intent part. So that this is the first test. The speech must be explicitly directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action. And then part 2, likelihood, which is the speech must be genuinely likely to incite or produce such action. Merely advocating for legal acts or violence in the abstract is fully protected. The threat of violence must be both immediate and realistic. Now, to consider the immediate threat, right? So if you're online and you're saying these things to an online audience in your own home, most people would say probably not, right? But then you get into other things that are also well established within the U.S. code, and I don't know if they've actually been challenged yet. But when it comes to the Patriot Act, so the
Patriot Act fell out about 6 years ago now. Well, it got changed to the Freedom Act, and the Freedom Act expired, I believe, 5 or 6 years ago. Right around 2020, right. It expired, and they didn't re-up it.
Yeah. But yeah, you see what I'm talking about, though. I don't want to say the T word.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the likelihood that it's actually going to incite somebody immediately to action. Now, we already know that action was taken in this particular case. So again, a court or a jury would likely conclude with the right prosecutor that the man was intent if he was there constantly agitating, right? I'll give you another example of a legal code that we have: attempted assault. Attempted assault is assault, right? There is no attempted assault statute. All attempted assaults are assault. Now, if you swing and you miss, right, that's assault. If you actually hit somebody, that's a battery. Now, you didn't hit anybody. You didn't actually hit anybody. You did lunge at somebody, or you acted like you were going to do that, or you said you were going to do it. Those are assault. And there's all sorts of little things like that you'll find, oh, that's right. We do have to live with other people in a society, so we have to have laws and boundaries. We have to have places where we respect other people's rights. Now, saying that word specifically without the intent, no, you're not going to be found by most of society even that you're doing anything wrong. But if you are doing it with the intent to do it, one, yes, you're probably going to be found to be doing a lawless action, but you're also going to be found to be doing something that's pretty shitty to most of society. Here's another thing I want to point out. The person who takes action because they hear the word also may very well be seen as a little bitch because you couldn't take it. But I understand. I understand too, right? So it's like saying, like, you motherfucker, pussy ass motherfucker, all that shit right to somebody's face. Like, okay, are you a man? Can you take it, right? And all that shit. But at the same time, if you swing at that motherfucker, I still don't have a problem with it, right? But then understand that both of you may end up in jail.
Notice that y'all keep speaking of this as if it's just an objective word. Notice you said motherfucker a couple times. You know, motherfucker got a history attached to it. The very same motherfucking history. You feel me?
Yes.
So
Can
the whole thing. Let me land with this. I think that it shouldn't be jail or court, nothing like that. Nah, let our cultural standard be the legislative, you know what I'm saying, push toward this. Open ass whooping. If you all y'all go ahead, say the N-word however you want to say it or whatever. But if a motherfucker put them things on you, then they put them things on you. They give you, you get the pass, whatever. But it'll be a new, fresh situation. You ain't got to get the courts involved. You ain't, you know what I'm saying? This would be a civic duty, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
You lose me as soon as you invoke violence.
What you mean? But it's a violent word that's meant to fuck up somebody.
It's just a word. It literally
it ain't just a word. It's a history.
It is.
It's a history that all y'all run from.
Yeah,
Black
it's a
people
word
run from it.
All right, hold on.
No more power than any other word.
Yeah, okay.
I will definitely give Rogish some points on the part of that, though. I understand what you're saying, Ant, 100%. But like Frank Frazetta says, the barbarian will always be more polite than the civilized man because the civilized man isn't scared of getting his skull split.
I have a question.
That's not true.
I have a question.
I'd like to ask a question, actually, building on all of this. Do you think it's more racist to train you to be triggered by that word than it actually is for somebody to say that word?
What's the training? You receive no training for that.
There's no through the propaganda.
There's no training in our culture for that.
Through
Wait a minute, though.
through everything like that to train you to get emotionally triggered and mentally triggered by
There's
that
not
word.
that much black culture in your media to train us on behalf of a benefit to us. Get out of here. Y'all don't put that shit in your media.
Wait a minute. I grew up
to get triggered by it, dude.
It's not triggered. No, look,
it's like I called
we can't have. Okay,
I called him. Let's just pretend for a moment
that one at a time, gentlemen.
That he swung the other way, right? And I called him a bald rainbow snake. But if he's not mentally trained to get triggered by that word, he's just going to laugh it off.
In other words, people have an agency, have a cultural agency, and have a measurement of enacting their own response outside of what anyone else would consider this is supposed to be the objective response. You crazy. And look, everywhere around the world, there's one thing. There's one thing that that was crazy right there. There's one thing that every person, every group, every culture around the world will murk your ass for on the fucking spot if you culturally offend them. That's one thing. Y'all don't think black people got one? I know white people got y'all got like a couple, right? Y'all got like right?
No, white people, white. To be honest, white men don't get offended for rape. For rape.
White men don't jump either. What are you talking about?
We don't.
But I'm not saying words. I'm not saying words.
We don't
there's no racial word you can call me that I'm going to find
offensive. I'm saying words. I don't like that. Y'all know y'all culture.
It's not even a TOS violation to say those words. Like they're training you to get emotionally pissed off by those words.
Rogus, I got a question for
you.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Regarding culture, Rogish. Now, when I was growing up, I grew up with Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Grace Jones, Diana Ross. I had so many artists.
Don't forget Chris Rock.
Well, I'm talking about when I was younger because I've got
like 15 years after what he's talking about.
Yeah, I've got like over 5 decades of walking on this earth. My culture when I was growing up was very blended, and I never had to really consider the differences because I had such an appreciation for art and artists, regardless of ethnicity. Now, I have a question when it comes to Chud because I'm looking at Stephen King. If any of you are familiar with the author Stephen King.
Yes,
right on.
He's notorious. He's notorious for using words which are considered offensive, and he uses them liberally in his literature. And I'm wondering, can what's happening with Chud be applied to people like Stephen King, who have gained great financial boon through such exploitation?
I wouldn't apply that to Stephen King because he has dimension. He has way too many dimensions just to focus on like that. Let's say that one thing. I assume all y'all got a little bit of that to a degree. So the thing is, there's supposed to be a certain element of a threshold, right? With Chud, that was direct. You and then they're chimping out. It's like, okay, you trying to really, you know what I'm saying, put some gasoline on it. I wouldn't say that Stephen King would, let's say, okay, he had them offensive moments, but that wasn't the bulk of his literary works. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, well,
I received that.
Hey, Rogish.
I received that.
Rogish. I got first, Rogish, I want to ask you a question, but first, Kevin, Stephen King's work is mainly based in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. So, like, he uses those words mainly for a time period, like the television show Roots or the made-for-movie movies, how they use our words. It was based on the time period. So, I actually respect a lot of what you're saying, but I think that's a wrong example. Now, Rogish, what I'm going to ask you is, I don't want to ask this because it was asked last night, but I have to. Are Italians white?
Yeah, but
I'm Italian. I'm Italian. I can answer that.
Well, I grew up in an Italian family.
Hold on. Let me tell you why I say yeah, because we don't set the measurement. That's not our measurement if they're white or not. That's up to the system. Let's say they were grandfathered into whiteness.
That's a wrong question.
Are you saying that white people set the measurement for you to get offended?
No, hold up. That's the wrong question.
No. White people set the measurement of white for me.
Are Italians European? That's a better question.
Yes.
Yes.
The dingleberry of Europe.
Well, they're more Mediterranean. That's like saying Greeks are European. Like
no, Rogish, that was a fucking dig towards me. That's all right, Baldy.
Oh, word.
That's all right.
All right. So here's my point. Hold up.
What you wanted me to throw you in with the eggplants, huh? Is that what it was? Yeah.
All right, regardless if Italians are white or copper bronze like the Persians, they're from the Mediterranean. Now I'm not going to make a comment on the Irish people because I already made a couple of jokes on them. But the Italians, when they came over to America, they were treated like fucking dog shit. And I got 3 Italian kids. I grew up in an Italian family, so I can say this. They used to call Italians Dagos and everything else. Do you think they get offended by that word now? Do you think they're going? Oh, then do you think they get hostile like other groups that they're called racial slurs?
Well, it's not a thing. It's not just a racial slur. It fits within the classification of a racial slur or a pejorative, but the history connected to it. Maybe it don't mean that much to y'all.
There's history
that ain't for me to decide.
Slurs. Yeah, there's history to racial slurs to Italians and Irishmen too, because the Irish were treated like shit when they brought it to me.
Exactly.
Well, I can't speak on Italians, but Irish people were slaves at one point. Maybe not in America, but they were slaves. I don't know if Italians ever were. I'm pretty sure every ethnicity were slaves at one point, and they were called derogatory names.
But that's the whiteness I identify. That's the whiteness I identify.
Okay,
I identify that same whiteness that the Italians, the Irish, the Polacks, or whoever the fuck else was here had to go against whatever. So it's not racial. I don't know. You keep saying racial. Well, it's not racial pigmented, right? So race itself can have all this, this whatever to it. That's why I don't go with the whole race shit. Skin color, nobody choose their skin color, they stripes, they spots, they scales, they motherfucking plumes, whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's racially motivated. I can't go up to Spin.
But if y'all both white to me, what is that supposed to mean to me if all y'all is white to me? I can't pick you motherfuckers apart, but y'all want me to receive y'all in a picked apart status? I don't get that.
Okay, I'm going to step in here for a second. We're talking about race, right? Now, Rogish, please give me a lot of latitude because I have a question. It's going to probably come out fucked up, and I apologize.
Man, be honest and authentic.
If I
forget about it.
I won't. I won't.
Forget about it.
If I were to call you that ever so that word, get it?
The hard R.
Yes, thank you. If I were to call you the hard R, would you take offense to that?
Would I take offense to it? No. I would give you
now
the lesson that you asked for. It's not an offensive thing. It's not whether I'll take offense to it or not. It's what the history connected to it means to me, not the word. Just the fact that you want to use the word as the vehicle don't mean that I'm gonna tell myself you ain't looking to disrespect that unfinished historical business. That's what I receive.
So basically, it is about the use of the word and not the word itself.
Yes.
Okay, so I've been around the block a time or two, and I've heard in conversation, and I know I'm dancing around it, but oh boy, why is it appropriate for like-minded individuals to use that hard R in general conversation? Is it still about the context of the conversation, or is it just because this is your friend, your homie, your bro, whatever?
No, what it is the thing is we're haunted by it. We don't say it or we don't speak it. It grew again. It grew it with us the same time that it grew with y'all. We wasn't saying it like that for real as a culture. So we're haunted by the history of it. That's the only reason why we say it. Same with motherfucker. all black people don't
Okay.
go around saying motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But that's
I know
considered
one.
some black thing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Joe motherfucking cool.
You know what I mean? So the thing is, I don't know. We're as
may I
fresh
read
to it as
something to
everybody
you?
else is, but we're connected to it deeper than everybody else is.
Can I
Go ahead,
may I
Casey.
read something to you? And I want you to just take a minute and process what I'm reading to you.
Oh Lord,
The
he's
N
using
word
his brain
did
again.
not become offensive due to white propaganda. Instead, white enslavers and segregationists deliberately created and weaponized the term to enforce white supremacy. The word was always intended to be dehumanizing slur used to subjugate black people, not a neutral phase turned offensive by propaganda. Now, essentially, that's saying yes, it's white propaganda that trained y'all to be offended by the word. Now, why would you let the white people, the KKK, the enslavers, and all that stuff? Why would you let them have that power over you? Why would you choose to be haunted by it?
It's not a choice. Why would
Well,
you
may
choose
I
to be
ask-
haunted by? You don't choose
I'm
your
curious.
haunts, cuz.
Definition of haunt in this case. I know this should be so obvious, Rogish. What is
Yeah.
the definition of haunt? I maybe
Followed
maybe there
after
isn't.
them. You know,
What-
it haunts them. It's attached to them in a haunting way.
That's why I'm asking Rogish.
Traumatizing.
They've incorporated
It's-
it into their identity.
And spirit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking Rogish. I don't want everyone else answering. I would like
not,
Rogish.
I'm so sorry.
not necessarily
okay.
identity. No, not identity. Circumstance. It's not our identity. We create our identity. That's just some, again, unfinished business. That's it. And it's the most potent unfinished business of all of our unfinished business. That
I
just
wanna
happens
have-
to be
I
connected
wanna
to
ask
that.
about that. I want to ask
It's-
about that.
But could
It's a hell of an
So,
unclosed chapter.
if it's
What is
not,
the
if you
unfinished
don't
business?
identify with it, if it is not incorporated into your identity, why would it have power?
Because that's what
right?
the
Can
word
you just
means.
close the books on it by saying
We
this
didn't make the
doesn't
word
help me?
up. We didn't make the word up, nor did we make
But,
up
okay,
the
okay,
circumstances
so-
that gave that word its power.
So let's say that I'm in a room and
As room, I
somebody
see you.
comes
I'll
in
get
and
right to
starts-
you.
And yeah, I'll get to you. You can have that right after this, Asvarun. I go into a room and everybody starts, and somebody comes in, and I'm in a room full of, say, 10 people, and he comes in and starts screaming about how horrible meth users are. I'm not a meth user. So I immediately quit listening because this does not apply to me because I don't identify with any of the things that a meth user does. And so the only time that a name is going to actually affect you is if you somehow has incorporated that into your identity. I do understand that you also could be offended just because you understand he's trying to be offensive to you and you're bothered that he's attempting to be offensive. But for the most part, the only reason that word would have any special connotation to it is because it's part of your identity. Why would you let that word be part of your identity?
It's not a let. You look, I really wish it wasn't even a part of history. You know, y'all keep wanting to project this identity shit. If I do consider myself a nigga, I'm a field nigga, right? I ain't just any nigga. I'm one of my motherfuckers believe I was born here to burn all this shit down. We can't have what's ours. You can't keep what's yours. That's the rules of that's the rule of the sandbox. How the fuck that ain't the rule of the block? So that's where I've been running it day one, whatever. As far as I'm concerned, it's the history that's connected to it. The people are deserved whatever time that they need to establish those roots in order to, you know what I'm saying, recreate themselves, reconnect themselves, get themselves to a cultural standard of a healthy, harmonious state. Part of that is putting that history together. When you have people that come at you and want to use it as some form of frolic and play until you like they can just fuck with your soul like that. If you get to fuck with our soul, we get to fuck with your life. That's the natural return. I don't know where y'all keep talking law, and I don't know where y'all get your objective moral standard where a person is supposed to stand on something in receptivity or delivery. Where the fuck y'all get this from? Where's this objective human shit that everybody's supposed to stand on now when they don't?
Go ahead, Asvarun.
Yeah, I have a question for the panel regarding racism. Do you think it can be defined as a very hyper competitive situation where one group tries to brutally dominate the other and take over their resources, their land, and other aspects that will be very economically beneficial for them? If so, that was there in the colonial era. But now that we've actually crossed the colonial era and after the UN has come, how effective can you say that racism still exists? Because, like, in a sense, actually, like, the world is not as harsh as it used to be, where groups would always war with each other for gold, power, money, and land and other resources. So it's happened in the past. It's very, you can't forget about your history. But in today's world, how effective is this system of racism that way? Actually, if you see,
is that what you? Is that where we are? We agreeing that is considered that a system of racism? It's like, do you think that a person needs to have an intention to dominate, or excuse me, a nation needs an intention to dominate simply because they might have a different skin color? I don't agree with that, man. I think that lets a lot of shit off when you use a race. You know, racism. It's other than that. It's just skin color. Come on, it's got to be deeper than skin color. Because if that's the case, then this shit is a whole lot more simple, and the solution would be a whole lot more simple. Perhaps maybe graphic.
And gentlemen, speaking of a solution, we are going to take a small little grift break here. We have been streaming for an hour and 32 minutes, and what keeps me going is the almighty dollar. And I like the almighty dollar. So, Clay, start us off. Tell these fuckers what they need to do.
Sure, I appreciate you. I appreciate you out there. Hey, you guys, listen, Linda. You know we can't do this on our own. We couldn't do this without you. We know that you are our support. You've always been our support. That's why you come to our chats. That's why you come to listen to us. And at this point in time, you know, we got to consider keeping the lights on. You know, we have to. Unfortunately, you know, this is the way the world works. Money makes the world go round. You know, because, you know, Balderson and Spin have put on a decent show for us today. We have a great topic tonight. You know, Chud the Builder versus the idea of, was it racism or what is
White people are the devil versus Chud the Builder 2.0, sir.
White's devil. And you know you loving this conversation. We're actually getting some decent talking points, and we just have to keep the lights on. So anything you can throw at us, you know, you got the super chats on Ben's channel. We got the Cash Apps, all those things. They're in the chats and in the descriptions, running through. Throw it at us. Dollar make me holla.
Awesome, Clay. Kevin's Chaotic Coffee. I hope you understand what we're doing right now. Tell these lovely folks what they need to do to keep the stream alive.
Give us money.
That's how it works. Absolutely. Kraut Mick, tell these fucking people what they need to do, or the stream goes away.
One, I take offense to that name. All right, so if y'all don't donate, those eyes, that's me. That's an avatar picture of me. Those eyes are gonna haunt you in your dreams. I got that Neanderthal, crazy looking eyes. Donate the money, or that's the last thing you're gonna see before you go to sleep.
Asbaroon.
Yeah.
What do they need to do, sir?
All of you, please donate. The show is interesting. If you want to hear more interesting discussions on the show, please donate how much ever you can. That's my request from all of you. Thank you, sir.
Roguish Son, I think you know what we're doing. Help me out a little bit.
I mean, hey, what to do, y'all? Y'all know I'm really, you know what I'm saying, Robert Peckables, but these pilgrims is kind of cool. So, you know what I'm saying, they hitting you up with a little bit of peace. You hit them with a little bit of peace, more than the twos and fews.
Cheers, my friend. Cheers, my friend. For the win! Help me out, sir. For the win.
Good argument.
Just imagine that beautiful sign.
Good morning, sweet. I think he fell asleep, but we'll come back to him.
He's taking a shit.
Yep, he's taking a shit. Toasty. Hard talking Toasty. Tell them what they have to do.
All I gotta say is if y'all ain't fucking donating, y'all motherfucking window shoppers. I don't care. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, sir.
God's favorite aunt, mesmerize me with your mesmerizing tactics of donations.
Donate or do not. There is no try.
Mr. Balderson, our host with the most this evening, please tell them what's going to happen if they don't.
We're gonna quit streaming and sit around with our thumb up our ass.
Yeah. Tell them what they have to do to keep us streaming, sir.
Donate some money so we can keep the lights on, keep feeding the cats.
We got a little kitty love up there, little kitty love. Gentlemen, as I always do in my streams, and Roguish, this is probably the first time you've ever seen this come up, but this is what I'm about right here.
Always remember to stack that bread, neighbor. Money, cash, hose. I'm about my paper, no cap.
And that's what I have to say for my grift break. Gentlemen, back to Kevin, I've got much more. Gentlemen, back to you, sir. Azwaroom, you have been very patient. Azwaroom, start it off, sir.
I just wanted to ask, is it okay if I can just take a half an hour break? I need to eat my breakfast and come back. Is it okay? Can you excuse me for half an hour?
100%. 100%.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll be here. The link will still be pinned, as you know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Thank you.
We'll see you then, sir. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, I'm fixing to get off. So can I get like a minute or two with Ruggers real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead. You know what? I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. So I'm going to give you what's called, as you know, a speed date. Have at it, boys.
All right. So, Ruggers, or Rogus, what's up, man? So do you believe the prompt that white people are the devil? I'm not going to take offense.
No,
I mean, you can be
not
honest.
alone. Not alone.
I'm sorry?
It don't put like this. It's easy to point out the devil.
Right.
The devil works largely through proxy. Right? It's not always just an outright, the whole one-on-one of it. I believe that y'all culture is demonic in its greed feeding and in ways that y'all wish to have, access to disrupting people's harmony, you know what I'm saying? Like plant, animal, mineral, I don't give a fuck what the fuck it is, y'all.
Are you talking about how we colonized America?
It ain't just about America. So my thing is, what I saw, I'm from Oklahoma, so they just started teaching us real early the history. But first they taught us about the Native Americans, and then they taught us y'all, and they showed what y'all did to the buffalo and all kinds of shit. So it's not that you're the devil, because if you were just saying it by yourself, okay, yeah, you'll be the devil. Well, nah, y'all got a lot of help. I got a lot of help from people who call y'all the devil. I think what it is for us particularly, y'all are antithesis. We're diametrically opposed. As far as now, I believe your God is our devil, definitely. If anything,
Israelite or Muslim?
Nah, I ain't nothing.
But you believe in God, or are you agnostic or atheist?
Probably agnostic, more like that. Yeah.
I'm glad you pronounced that right, because I think I fucked that word up. All right, so I think it's all perspective. Like I was telling that cat character yesterday, man, he's just a victim. I don't think you're a victim, but I would look at other cultures beside the white cultures and see every culture has committed atrocity. But I would say, as far as American culture, as time goes on, we move to a better society. I mean, we did colonize, but there's a lot of Native Americans out there that'll tell you, hey, I'd rather live in this America than the shit was happening, 400 years or 500 years ago when natives was scoffing their own fucking people. I mean, from different tribes, but their own fucking people. So it's a perspective. So look at other cultures than the white culture and realize we all done evil.
No. The thing is, we're not just identifying white culture. Largely, a large amount of American culture is white culture. You're part of the framework. So it's not just white people as aggregate. It's also as a power dynamic. No different. Like you just said, you're Italian, right? Or you came up around Italian.
No. I'm German Irish. My stepfather's Italian. I know that motherfucker since I was 3. So I grew up in an Italian family. That's why I picked the name Troutman. It's a Godfather thing. Yeah, well, it's a slur from a movie, Godfather, from Tom Hagen. He was German Irish. If you ever saw the movie, but he was raised by Vito Corleone.
Yeah. So the thing is, white is also a power dynamic, as well as a cultural one, as well as a racial one. All right, but you know what I mean. So we're also interacting with it like that. It's the same sense of when what was it? There was something they was trying to get people to stop teaching. Is CDC? What is it? Not intersectionality. What is it? It was something associated with law and race. I forget the name of it, but you heard a lot of white people.
But
you heard a lot of white people referring to it, saying that I don't want my child to be taught that white people are evil. And it's like, well, it's not about the people. It's about those who operated the system of those times, and they operated that system through whiteness. So it's almost like y'all shot yourself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get some distance with that in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I'll end with this because I'm going to sleep. Well, first I'm going to play me some Prince and Desert, then I'm going to sleep. Even though we colonized, we killed the Indians, but they were killing each other long before we fucking got here. We made this country what it is today. And yeah, white people may hold sway over most of the power. But it is what it is. But altogether, we came up with the amendments to free the slaves, and we didn't hold slaves for 250 years. That's some liberal argument. The American nations, they should have done it off the bat, but they didn't. It took them 100 years to do that. But that's something the white people did good, regardless of the reason for that. But we did good, and we're constantly improving the American nation. That's why don't vote for a liberal, otherwise it's going to go to shit. Always got to end with the liberal dog shit. But yeah, man, just look at other cultures, man. You'll realize it's not all white and white. You know what I mean? But
what other
Ruggers,
cultures
again,
are in direction of operating America, bruh? What other cultures?
I mean, we like if you just want to talk about America,
legislation and all that.
Legislation, the civil rights. I mean, if white people were a huge problem, we would have never signed the civil rights. The Civil War, people can, we freed the slaves.
Look, I'm not one of those black people that see that as a plus, cuz for real. Nah.
Well,
I'm from North Tulsa. I'm from Black Wall Street. We never need you motherfuckers for nothing, as far as I'm concerned. Let alone to grant us civil rights, whatever. We already had all potential that we had to create everything that we need. The civil rights shit came later, so I don't count that as a plus. I wasn't down with their intention with that. That was, to me, that was ludicrous.
Well, look, I'm going to bed. Like I'm always willing to discuss people that's got like an open mindset and don't play the victim. Like that dude captain from yesterday. I'll probably never have an open panel with him again because he's just victim, victim, victim. That's all that motherfucker is. You don't seem to be like that. So join Spin's Discord, and we can have more open discussions like this. But I'm about to be out. Spin, Boulder, as always. Thanks for having me, Clay. You know what's up, man. Peace. Toasty,
Good one, Kraut.
man. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Kraut. We'll see you later. If you'd like to join the open panel, I've dropped the StreamYard link again. Please make sure, if you do, come on up in the back, cam up. You do not have to be on the camera. You can be in avatar mode. That's fine as well. Back to you, gentlemen.
A question. Rogesh, when you say whiteness, does your definition of whiteness have anything to do with capitalism and systems of capitalism?
No, because it's not just white people that participate in that. Let's say it was launched from white people, all right, then, well, you had other people, other nations that participated in some form or fashion. It's not just, the issue isn't white people. The issue is the value standard of white culture unto other people. That's the issue. All white people don't rock with that, but that value standard is a part of this framework as far as being a power dynamic. Again, that same whiteness that the Irish ran into that was offensive to them.
I appreciate your definition. And the reason why I ask you that is because in the political realms currently, in current day, from the democratic socialist to the socialist to the Marxist left in politics right now, they use the term whiteness as well. And when they use that term, they equate it to capitalism. And this is where we're entering into a state of not being able to understand each other because we're taking words and we're not coming up with clear definitions. And it's almost like the fall of Babel, where it's like we used to be able to communicate with each other so effectively, and people have polluted our words.
It's a hybrid, though. It's not taught as a hybrid. It's just taught as a word. But then it got all these different contexts of how it's enacted within society, other than just, pigmentation or lack thereof or whatever. Like, how do white people describe whiteness?
Well, inside white culture, and this is one of the things that's been glossed over by media and entertainment. Inside actual white culture, we obviously have our own divisions. Now, I myself come from an extraordinarily white area, and it's very German. So for us, like, one of the things that you start seeing is things like jokes. Depending on what white area you're from, you can tell, because Oli and Lena, which is a very Northern European, it's an old Northern European joke that Oli and Lena it's Oli, Lena, and Sven. And they're very stupid. They're very stupid. So as a German, when we're making that joke, it's about the Polish. Now, my wife's Danish. So when she makes that Oli and Lena joke, it's about the Swedes. And we have entirely different customs, entirely different foods. Like, as a German, one of my favorite foods is Kuchen. Almost nobody even knows what Kuchen is. It's just unheard of, because unless you're from an extraordinarily German area, you've never eaten Kuchen. It's a very ethnic food. Delicious, though. You're all missing out.
What's in it? This motherfucker keeps saying it's good. He ain't tell us what's in it.
But this is what happens when you start just dividing down to whiteness. To white. Inside white, we have our own very different little cultural pockets in the very white areas. So it becomes very interesting because then like you already brought up the Irish, where the Irish were like the rejects of the white world. They're considered not to have souls. They don't bathe. They're born red and hairy. Things like that. So once I know for a fact that the same thing happens in the black world. Like there's a difference between light-skinned and struck black and struck match black. And depending on where you are, you're gonna one side or the other is gonna be more desirable. And so there's gonna be other little inside that one domain, there's gonna be other separations that happen.
Okay, so the thing is, so ours isn't a power dynamic though. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice if it was, but it ain't. But with y'all's being a power dynamic and part of the framework itself, how are those who are non-white supposed to be privy to that or aware of that?
Well,
to know that this is the capacity that the person, the entity, the ideology is interacting with me in. Like y'all are a hybrid into yourselves.
It's less of a power it's less of a power dynamic and more just a tribalisticness. Like if you look at Mexicans, if you call like a Guatemalan a Mexican, ooh, they mad now. They mad. They ready to fight with you. And as a North American, most of us can't tell the difference between a Guatemalan and a Mexican. Like,
well, can I add this too? I think that a lot of it is based on trade, right? So contract law, and it actually leads to one of your questions as to why white people focus a lot on law when it comes to this cultural identity or whatever. I mean, there has to be boundaries in order for there to be property. The concept of property rights that's ingrained and built into the system of governance that we have here in the Americas and throughout the European cultures. I've got to imagine it's throughout all of the African cultures. It's all throughout the Asian cultures. The idea that one people or group or family or person has possession and that belongs to them must be understood on at least the basic level of some type of social dynamic, whether it be communication, a written contract, or simply just trade. And so when it comes to that specifically, we did the grift, money rules the world, unfortunately, for the vast majority of the way transactions work. And it's just that basic concept that kind of binds a lot of these cultures together and says, okay, we're going to sit down at the table and we might not agree on a lot of things. And we might even have language that we hate about each other, but we're going to put all of that aside because we need or want something that the other person brings to the table. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, tribalism is an answer for more things than what people want to realize. And while I don't think these devisers are high-minded, I think they're natural. Like when I was a young man, the town I went to high school in was Groton. Everybody in Groton knew the assholes in Webster. The dudes were the biggest dickheads, and you wanted to fight with them any chance you got. But their girls were the hottest, and they put out way more than our girls. And you definitely want to get a piece of that. And that seems to be the way that goes. And then when I got older, it was I moved to Minneapolis, and it's the Minneapolis or Minnesota against Wisconsin. And then it becomes the United States against whatever rival country the United States has at the time, and so on and so forth. So while I don't think it's a higher-minded thing, I definitely think that it's a natural thing that we experience as people, and it's just something that you should at some point outgrow. But I think some people don't. I mean, there's guys that in their 50s are fucking still jacking off 5 times a day. Like I don't understand that guy either,
Yeah. I so, and just to kind of expound on that as well, there's certain values that are appreciated within certain actions, certain words, certain property. So all those things that you mentioned, we assign a value to it. Even our the people around us, we assign values to it. We just, this is 1, this is 2, this is 100%. Those values, they have meaning to us, and we hold those in the highest regard. With especially like things like virtue, right? So like respect, right? If it's considered a virtue, then we will put that into a category and we will assign it a value. And if we do this, we will consider a societal value to it as well, right? How much does it mean to our tribe as a whole, or our counterparts as a whole? And that's how we, operate this trade system. And I actually want to bring it also back to the point we were talking about earlier of specifically, we were talking about that case law, the fighting words doctrine. One of the reasons that the court narrowly tailored the fighting words doctrine to inciting words, actually it was the primary reason, was because in the fighting words doctrine, what they actually did was they said that those words are of so little social value that they have no place in society. But that was a problem because it could be weaponized. It could be weaponized as something now against the people. We could just assign a value to those words just because an arbitrary reason of how somebody felt about it. So they narrowed it to inciting so that only it could be considered according to actions. If actions were taken or meant to be or intended to be taken. And of course, as we know with mens rea, intent is the hardest thing to prove. You've got actus reus, mens rea. Actus reus is just the crime itself if it was alone without intent, but they need intent. So with those inciting words, you don't assign a value to it unless you can either prove either by someone's statement or by a jury of your peers that they're, according to society as a whole, there's a value to that, right? There's a dangerous slope when you take someone's inherent right and assign a value to it.
When you were reading the law in and of itself, I found it very interesting because the way the very last part of the law, the way that it's worded, it made it definitely sound that the only things inciting are things you would naturally expect to violence to follow after. Like, again, saying bomb on a plane. Then you naturally expect there to be panic and violence. Now, so then in this case that we're discussing, and this is where it gets real funny because this is where it becomes unclear. There's a million instances where you could use this word that he was using, and you definitely would not expect violence to be a result. You could be sitting there singing a rap song. Fucking Toasty's looking just tough back there. You could sing a rap song. You could be doing all kinds of things, and you would naturally be using that word and not expecting violence, where you would never say bomb on a plane and not expect there to be a panic afterwards. Correct. So that's where the slipperiness in this case is going to happen. Is you couldn't naturally, they're going to have to prove that you would naturally have to have expected the violence and that he intended it in order for this to stick.
Correct. Right. So here's another example of
That's absolutely correct, Baldy.
Inciting words, right? Other pretty well-known ones. A young girl calling out grape in a group of crowded men. Okay, that she runs out from a room. He did this. Now, a couple of things can happen from that. One, that group of men
into a lynch mob.
yeah, they could either, do the arrest thing, but then they could turn into a lynch mob as well. So, I don't have a problem with a woman actually doing it if it really happened. But if it is found out that she does this and it is, she yells this thing, but it didn't really happen, now we've got another problem on our hand. She actually has incited these people to do something over something that never happened. And so it is a real concern when you're talking about things that would naturally incite, like you said.
Why'd he take a defensive posture? Why'd he take a defensive posture then? If he was out there meaning no harm, even when he was approached or contested, he didn't have to take a defensive posture.
That's
if
a
you
valid
really out
point.
there conducting an experiment. Okay, but Charlie Kirk, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk didn't take defensive postures. He said what he said with his fucking chest.
Nobody. That's why he had the security guards there, though. That's a defensive posture.
Well, they would state that the security guards are because he's such because he did not have security guards when he was small. He's such a high profile.
When he started.
Yeah. So I mean, they would state that that's because of his celebrity that he's keeping the security guards, not because I absolutely agree with what Rogish is saying here. That why was he acting defensive? If I truly thought what I was saying was not going to incite a violent response, why would I in any way be concerned about it? It's not like he's Charlie Kirk. He doesn't have 100,000 people sitting in a stadium watching him. He's got, a couple guys that follow him, or a couple people will stand around and watch. He doesn't have a huge following. I think that's a valid point.
When did he acquire the people who would stand guard for him?
Charlie Kirk?
No. Did Chud have people who would guard him?
No, not that I know.
Okay, he did not. Okay, he did not. Okay.
No,
but Toasty was saying that Charlie Kirk had security, and that security would be in response to something happening. Well,
right. It's a whole your enemies grow in number thing, right?
Yeah.
As Charlie Kirk got bigger, his enemies that he had to be aware of also grew bigger. When you're small, you don't really have to worry about anybody coming and fucking with you that much. But as you get bigger, especially in these platform spaces and all this and whatnot, you start needing to more and more and more. I wouldn't doubt for a second in my mind that Charlie Kirk, and probably one of the reasons he wore the blazers a lot, was he stayed strapped. He had a gun on the inside of his breast pocket, and he was always in the defensive stance. He was always ready for somebody to come after him. But as he got bigger, he needed more guys on his side to keep the playing field level.
When he first started, he was not armed when he first loaded. When he first started, he was just out there, another college student challenging other college students and standing on it with his chest. You feel me? He did but he didn't get defensive or nothing like that. He opened to all whatever.
How do you know he wasn't armed? Did you personally check him?
I remember that Peckerwood when he first got started. That's one of the things you had to
respect. He wasn't armed.
Even though I disagree with him, but you gotta respect him in the stands for him to stand there, and say it with his nuts.
He started that when he was 16 or 17. He definitely wasn't strapped.
Yeah.
Well, I guess sure. Like I'm saying, he could have had a pocket knife on him.
Nigga, everybody got a pocket knife on. Get the fuck out of here. You better have a motherfucking blade on you.
You can laugh about it, but it's a true statement.
Yeah, but wait a minute. There was always a really wise person that told me, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. For some reason,
in this case, the dude didn't even bring a knife to a fucking gunfight.
Toasty, check your Discord.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
right on. Funny. That's fucking hilarious.
It is, isn't it?
So, but again, I do want to say, look, okay, the thing I want to focus on is the societal value part, because that's exactly the reason for narrowly tailoring to inciting words, not fighting doctrine. So when we're talking about societal issues and someone uses language that particularly exemplifies a societal issue, is it at that point easy to determine that the intent there is to either, one, incite the violence, or is it, on the other hand, an intent to normalize what should not be, in some people's mind, insightful language?
What is the arena that we are choosing to shoot these inquiries? And because there are different class levels. So let's say that you have those at certain, medium and elevated class levels, trying to go to those of the lower class levels and shoot those inquiries to them, where when one is ignorant of that, one of the first things you're going to do is take offense, as opposed to understand how to absorb and deconstruct. They don't ever go to the place. Again, that's why Charlie Kirk has some nuts. He went to a place where people should be there to also deconstruct whatever you're going to challenge, whatever. If you're going with an intent to cause some people some form of initial harm or lessening of themselves, you get what they give you. Is, you know what I'm saying? If you go in there with an open mind, and okay, let's say it might be a touchy subject. All right, then no, people shouldn't be sensitive to touchy subjects. No. But if you have clear intent, and people can read people, we're not just composed of the material. We are immaterial beings as well, and have some element of frequency and understanding and focus with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all want to call it spiritual, ethereal, or whatever the fuck. Put your own name on it, but it's there. Spidey senses, motherfucker. Whatever. We got that.
Yeah, I do agree. There's a spiritual component to this. There's the ought. There's the, all things are lawful, but not all things are beneficial.
Facts.
But here's the thing. So I do operate based on that. However, I also operate based upon the idea that I have to live in society with other people who might not be like-minded. That right. is the liberal side of reality, right? That's the understanding that there are some people who I consider do very debaucherous things, but because the vast majority of people do that, I unfortunately have no say. Therefore, I can't just go on a rampage.
Okay.
I wonder if part of this is because some people feel the need to make both prejudice and stereotypes a form of commodity.
That very well may be. Yeah, I believe that's a thing.
His drawing this over to where he overlaid whiteness and capitalism or elitism was very interesting. Where I could see that shift has basically happened, where the two words have kind of been superimposed, and that's a real problem. And obviously, it can be turned into a financial boon. Again, we're discussing that with Chud the Builder, whether that's what he was doing this solely for shock value, similar to like a Howard Stern, and using it to gain money, or the same thing has been said often about the BLM movement, that the leaders of that was just a way for them to get money, and that they've garnered millions and millions of dollars for a movement that they have no interest in actually making progress with.
Yeah, but here, I mean, if we're going to do something for attention, if we're going to do something for attention, that is a really bad fucking way to get attention. With Chud the Builder.
It's effective.
Is
it's effective though.
It is. Oh, I listen. I'm not saying or being remiss in saying that it wasn't an attention getter, right? But that to me is way on the really. That is on the really fucking extreme end of attention-seeking behavior.
There's no doubt.
So much worse.
There's no doubt it's in the extreme end. But a lot of people, if you aren't the chat saying Nick Fuentes, he says some extraordinarily extreme things. Howard Stern, back in his day, was known for saying some of the most wild, extreme things, and these are the biggest stars. So I mean, I personally wouldn't want to do it, but can I deny the effectiveness of it, and that the person that's being the most extreme is probably garnering the most attention for good and for negative? Like with Howard Stern, the people that hated him used to spend twice as much time listening to him as the people that enjoyed him. Now, if you're an advertiser, do you give a fuck? Because my advertisements are getting heard either way. So he's definitely getting paid.
Well, when it came to Howard Stern, didn't he go to XM because what he was saying couldn't be said on regular airwaves or something?
He was back and forth banned from regular airwaves at one point in time. I believe he took over Imus's spot. But when I think honestly the move to XM was just that none of the other radio stations could have afforded him at that point in time, because XM took him to a large national brand, as opposed to, I think, the only brand that it has that kind of pull at this point, and it didn't back then, is that iHeartRadio. But the problem is radio has, for bang for the buck, fallen off quite a bit. And at the time, XM and Sirius were highly on the rise. Well, now if you look at the most recent thing that happened with Howard Stern, they're saying he's barely worth the money at this point, because XM now is a kind of a dead platform.
Question about media: are there any advertisement agencies and or corporations which are currently benefiting off this whole Chud thing, other than the mainstream media?
Well, you can't tell me that sports betting firm was doing that out the goodness of their fucking heart.
Right. Well, YouTube's benefiting off of it right now because we're all fucking talking about it.
Well, to your point, Ben, if you're that sports gambling thing or whatever, just by throwing your name in there, you get the publicity of getting your name out there. Any kind of publicity.
Advertisement.
Bad news is good news. Yes.
Yeah, a million people that never even heard of that sports place now have heard of it, and he's made an alignment. And if you are aligned to that side, maybe you're going to go and check out that sports betting place.
And also, okay, think about it. You don't really get too many people that go seeking out black people with the bullshit. You know, like directly like that. You know what I'm saying? Again, he in there with the pranks or whatever, but definitely more than a prank. But like the intention to rile up, as opposed to haha, I got you or something like that. Nah. Yeah, y'all don't really do that. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time when y'all do come, if y'all do come around black people, you're not gonna go to the hood. You know what I'm saying? You'll go to where they are around y'all or whatever. And that's going to be the black person that you showcase.
I mean,
his intention held much more peril for him than he thought it would, because he was, I mean, homie has some nuts. He has some audacity. And when you got that kind of audacity, you get what you get. He lucky all he got was maybe Maine by itself or whatever. You're not supposed. I don't know what black person any of y'all would be permissible unto coming to you about some traumatic historical shit from Pleasantville. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happens in White World, but I'm pretty sure y'all got a couple of, you know what I'm saying, Fight Club
You've never been
angst that y'all
You've never been to a trailer park? Have you never been to a trailer park?
Nah, I don't know about it.
Well, you know, I'm sure you've seen the movie Remember the Titans. You guys remember the locker scene and the Yo Mama jokes, right? And the way that went, right? So, you know, the Yo Mama jokes in that period of time were 100% inciting. Okay. Right? You know, so, you know, yeah, there's that, right? And there's other examples like, you know, I think that like probably a lot of white folks would have the same attitude towards certain dead relatives that any race or culture or anything would have towards dead relatives and people speaking about those people,
right?
Or like people speaking about your wife, or your girlfriend, or your children, right? When we start talking about people's families, then people do get emotional. People do get incited, right? So there is that as well. And that's pretty generally recognized. Now, some people got tougher skin than others, but you know, the intent there, right? And it's really about that intent. Now,
right.
You brought up if there's an intent to cause harm or fear, and I would actually add damage to that list because of personal private property as well. So if that intent is clear, here's the thing. Probably, this is just a guess on my part. I believe that most people believe that what they do and they say is good, generally. Like they know they do some bad things, but then they believe that the majority of things they do and say are good. And in this case, would I say that he probably thought that he was doing good? Probably. I actually believe that he probably thinks that he was doing a good because he thought he was normalizing something in society that hasn't been normalized. Here's the problem with that. Here's the real problem with that.
You would think he had that intention. You don't think he was just some goofy motherfucker trying to make it on the internet?
He's a goofy motherfucker.
That chick already came out, said she was pegging him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Long strong with this motherfucker.
And I want to make sure I make a clear distinction between what I'm going to say here, okay? He believes it, but he knows something else, right? So I still fall in the realm of knowledge is belief. But for knowledge is based on like some real hard evidence that you come to a belief that it's so concrete that you're not going to say, no, this is no way, it's not going to happen, or yes, this is absolutely 100% the truth. Same thing with the word truth, right? Do I believe that he, in his true state of mind, knows the actions that somebody would take against him? Yes. But I also believe that he thinks that that was good. So he was doing it, in my opinion, in order to incite with the intent also, two intents here, also to try to normalize.
Maybe he knew the black people that he took that to wouldn't respond that way and that he would gain a little bit of length in being able to present the agitation factor or whatever. Because those black people, they wasn't paying that cat no mind. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they're like, look, why you saying that? Why you saying that? Whatever. That's most black people. Most black people ain't finna go in y'all job with the real shit. And that's what's projected about us as a culture. And that was never a cultural standard. That's how I came up. And, right. You know, that's how it was around us. But all black people didn't rock like that. And he was around some black people who didn't.
there's a difference between what you hear online and what reality is. And I know I've heard black folks say, if you call me that, I don't care. But
yeah, for real.
That's different than reality. What you tell me and what's really gonna happen is two different fucking things. You know? So
well, there's just such a thing as common sense and social decorum. I mean, it's like, to me, it's obvious. I don't know why it isn't to everyone, but to me, it's obvious.
It was almost like he trying to put himself out there as bait, though. That's the ill part behind it, because it's like, look, you don't even come off as a fucking racist or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he studied something, and let's see if this works. You know what I'm saying? No different from back in the early years of YouTube when the motherfucker, the dating coaches and shit, they'd be out there doing the same thing, trying to pick up chicks and shit. You know what I'm saying? Baiting and shit. And it's like, look, this isn't even you. He don't even give that off. So he seemed like, again, some goofy dude who's going to use this factor to make it on the internet, and knowing that, you know, he could skyrocket. I don't know. He was in Tennessee. I thought black people in Tennessee a whole lot more whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I don't know. But I wouldn't let him make it. You know, just like that one motherfucker that go into Walmart and he point to black people, hey, boy, get that down, boy. And he's pranking, right? He's supposed to be pranking. Oh, it's a prank. Dude, it's a prank. It's like, ain't nobody finna let you play with that, though. And, you know what I'm saying? If you do encounter one of us out of the fucking thousands of us who will give you a pass, when you encounter the one of us that don't, accept that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, if you could put Fish Guru up too, I like that comment right there. You have the freedom. Do. You have the freedom to tell the grizzly it is not his woods anymore. You have that freedom. You know, you can do it.
Gentlemen, there is money on the table, so that is an immediate interruption. As Varun comes in, I don't know what that is, but
I believe it's a rupee.
Yes.
I don't know what that equates to because I'm not educated like that.
Thank you very much, Varun. We appreciate it, and I also agree with Rogish on this, that what I find most egregious about the whole deal is that he went around armed. If you're gonna do this kind of thing, then be willing to throw fists, you know, because you know that you're asking for it. So be willing to do it. Like that doesn't come off right to me to agitate people in that way, but then pull a gun. You're like, I agree that the guy was letting them make it. I agree that
get shot too.
I agree that the guys that were losing their shit, those guys also got a problem. But we in this world, we understand that there are people who are going to lose their shit. And if you walk around provoking, you're going to eventually find one of those people. And if you're doing that on purpose, that's all good for you. That's fine. But it doesn't warrant you having a gun. And then for quite some time, he was also walking around with bear mace. You know,
so we have a guy who seems like a bit of a ignoramus walking around in a time where currently there are portions of our government which are trying to take away our First and Second Amendment rights, while also suddenly gaining a following spontaneously based on acting like a dipshit.
Well,
that's where we are.
By spontaneous, I wouldn't necessarily call it spontaneous, because I would say if a guy was wanting to look for that kind of fame, there's a growing movement, and they call it the white fatigue. And where they're tired of black people being treated special, they're tired of white men getting put down, all this other kind of thing. And so there's already a rhetoric, and that rhetoric really took on, in my opinion, a lot of strength during that era where there's that kid that stabbed the other kid at the track meet, and then there's that girl that was calling that little baby the N-word, and
it was promoted.
Yeah, and both those things got promoted. Both those things ended up with like GoFundMe's that got like $1 million, and I thought, wow, this guy stabbed somebody. Why are you helping him? And this lady called a little kid racial slurs. Why are you helping her? I'm not sure why either of these people are suddenly like rocketed to 15 minutes of fame and given a shit ton of money. Neither situation made sense, but I saw this divide, the race war, the race baiting really up a notch. And so if he was being savvy, all he was doing was taking advantage of this movement that you've already seen happening. And certainly there's a lot of people that'll say race baiting bullshit on the internet, but this guy went out live and was doing it in person with people and getting reactions. So he was carving himself out a niche. And then as he's doing it, he's going, see, look at how these black people act. Look at, he's chimping out. And after, you know, having provoked the person to anger. And so this was definitely catering to the white fatigue movement that has been building up.
So I'm wondering,
is it that
as a society, do we choose to rebuke that shit? I mean, I choose to rebuke it because I think it smells like a freaking psyop. It just, and that might be lazy of me to say. That might be very, very lazy of me to say.
I don't think it's lazy. I don't think so.
Not at all.
I
agree.
You've got a corporation backing his bond.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, we have a corporation that's backing his bond, but if he is as big as a YouTuber or content creator is what I think he is, and I've just done a cursory.
I don't think he's on YouTube because YouTube wouldn't allow that.
Wherever he's
on X is what I think his primary platform is.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, X does pay a little better than YouTube and Rumble and all the other ones. But if you have that type of following,
233,000 on X.
Like I said,
wow,
he is making that money. I mean, I would be remiss not to say that I would be remiss to say that he wasn't, but he is. Now, at the end of the day, where is that money going to go right now? Legal fees.
So all that it depends on if the court allots him the ability, because he's already done a GoFundMe to cover all of that. And
did someone die during all this?
No.
Oh,
seriously,
thank God. Okay.
Seriously injured though.
Well, there's a difference between removing someone from the planet and injuring a person. Both are not cool, but
you can still get a life sentence from what he did.
Well, I'm just glad no one died. Oh my gosh.
I am too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would not listen. If you're out there making content and that is your primary goal, I mean, wouldn't it have been better just to walk away?
Apparently he tried. And this guy who followed him, and there's the other factor we've got to take into this as far as the legal consequences. This guy that went and met him at the court steps after his court case, this guy has obviously already proven that he's stalking, he's premeditating. So when they're asking if Chud's defending himself, well, you've got a man that's premeditated, met you at a courthouse in order to bring violence. So that adds a flavor to that no matter how you feel about Chud, and I believe on the panel, there's been no people going, this is brilliant. This guy's the best ever. Nobody thinks that.
I don't either.
But legally, where this stands is what we're trying to. You're going on.
Best on time, huh?
He's got animals.
Cat out the window.
Yeah, you got animals.
I see what you're getting at, though. The thing is, I think that's all a part of it. If he's able to raise that much of a commotion, it ain't about it's not about just the racism and all that of it no more. You get people to the point where they'll run up to you on court steps. The fuck it is almost there.
That's why I'm sitting here thinking it's like you said. I believe it's a psyops.
It feels like a psyops.
So now, if it's a psyop, if we're going along that lines, which I'm perfectly comfortable with,
I know.
When you look at when we look at these psyops, then what would be the end objective? So if they find Chud guilty in this end objective, they've now set precedents where offensive words can be something that you get charged with. They've set a precedence for that.
And when we defend yourself either.
Yep.
Yeah, but okay. I can go out on a protest line and I can say the most racial shit that I want to anybody, right? I can
now, if a case like this,
I'm saying,
what if libtard's the
now.
next word? What if libtard's the next word? What if fascist or Nazi's the word after that?
I have an example, a real life example. And guys, when I was living as Cassandra, I never required anyone to ever use feminine pronouns for me because I never put myself in a position where I would go and oppress someone else in order to feel good about myself. And at the same time, what was part of the reason why I detransed, even though body parts are missing and altered and all that shit, why I chose to go back to living as a man is because there was so much abuse towards the general population from people who were I consider them freaks, who were using the legal system against people who would not subscribe to their idea of sense of self and were enforcing that people contradict their cores and their belief systems. And that happened and is still happening.
That's brilliant.
So if this builds off that, we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble.
Well, I mean, we have to define. I mean, the courts. Now, Clay, I'm gonna rope this into you. The courts are going to have to determine if the First Amendment applies. Correct. That's the first thing they have to they have to design or designate, right? The second thing they have to contemplate is or was there an actual threat, regardless of what Chud the Builder said. The third thing they're going to have to do is prove that Chud the Builder had malice towards that person, or hatred, or whatever antiquated college-educated word you want to use. That's going to be tough.
Does it have to be hate?
I don't think it has to be.
Okay, I redact the word hate.
I think the word you're looking for there is intent, which
yes, hate or intent or something along that line. Fear. Yes.
Well, okay. So they chimping out. All right. So that is to add an inflation toward it. I guess maybe trying to enact some form of a response. The whole race war thing.
It's throwing gas on the fire.
Yeah. So I don't think this motherfucker trying to start no race war. No, I think what it is, it's more about that First Amendment thing. You know what I'm saying? Because look, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the United States has pulled back a lot of that of its attachment to a nationalized identity to the people. So I think, when they put Trump in, they figured that, we got to get these white people to use this last bit of whiteness. And because the whole system is becoming hyper commodified, and y'all are the deepest one here, 220 million. They got to keep y'all going along with this shit, right? But they also have to affect y'all negatively in the process of, removing further agency from everybody.
You're absolutely right. So that is actually exactly the way the system works. So you are just a number to them, whether it's Social Security or that number that they put on you if you go to jail. You're just a number. And so if you're going to participate in the system, they want you in a certain place. But if you're not going to participate in the system, then they will also attempt to put you in a certain place, right? So they want you for a specific purpose, right? Uncle Sam, I want you, right? This is the intent of the entirety of government, right? Now, whether it's tax dollars or whatever, it is not the intent of the people themselves to be part of the system. The people don't want that. The people just want to be left the fuck alone, right? From the government.
Except for the ones that really need the government because they don't know how to live without Big Daddy government.
Well, they want their benefits, yes, but they want.
But
Then
what
they
if,
want to
what
go
if it's
home.
no
with those
longer your
benefits.
government? At what point, when the government is showing you that it's pretty much sold the America that the people believe that they belong to, right out from up underneath their feet?
Rogish, I realized that when I did not wear a mask nor take the shot and they denied me all forms of medical care, I realized at that point that there was no fucking government for me.
For real.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I think that's what this is.
Mr.
That's why
Couldn't agree more.
Well, Mr. Balderson, it boils down to, at the end of the day, self-defense or intent, or the intention of doing harm. And the burden of proof has to come from the state. And I'm not saying that he's a moron, but I'm saying he's a moron for taking something to that extreme, the extreme level. Listen, for the average human, shut up. You can run away. Could he? Have he? In my case, I would try to roll away, but at the end of the day, you all have to prove intent. Or the state.
That's why we needed Dono, so we could get Spin a red button for his wheelchair for emergencies. What?
Need one of them fancy wheelchairs that comes like up off the ground so he can stretch out his back when he needs to.
Oh, you're talking.
We just need a little Harley engine under there hooked up onto the wheels, and fucking if he gets into an emergency.
I got a video of something like that. Hold on a second.
Help! Look out, the gators! Get back, you overgrown lizards! Whoa, a snapping turtle! Duck and cover! Here come the piranhas! Spin City activate! We did it! We're still alive!
Do they actually make those? Do they actually make those spin, like wheelchair type of things that you can go in the water with like that?
Yes, they do. Actually, there are actually, they're like a hovercraft, and they are made that the side drops down, and you can and it turns into like a ramp type thing, and I can roll my fat ass in there and pull up, as they say, and I could ride the waves. Shut up, Ben.
just stay on and don't fall off at that point.
Oh no, there's plenty of seat belts. You know,
Well, I mean, he's already sitting. He can't fall that far.
No, but I can drown, motherfucker. Gentlemen, it has been a good evening. Rogish, would you please put your links in the private chat? Make sure everybody likes, shares, and subscribes. We do these panels damn near every day.
You also, please, Kevin. It's been a pleasure meeting both you gentlemen, and we're gonna do a final thoughts, and both you gentlemen pimp out anything that you want, any projects, your own channels, whatever you got going on.
Rogish, we'll go ahead and start with you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the hospitality and the build and the sharpening and everything. I just got back on the net, so I ain't got nothing popping so far. So, but appreciate y'all, and holler at y'all on the flip.
Kevin, Chaotic Coffee, my new bestie, my new friend from over on pilled.net.
Yes. I just got back. I'm not creating right now, and like I mentioned before, I don't do social media all that much, because when I'm not creating, there's no point in me in being online. But I'm here with you as a guest.
Oh Lord.
And I appreciate that. It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate this, and I'm looking forward to the next panelist. That'll be nice.
Yes.
But for right now, I'm not self-promoting, so I have nothing to offer at this time.
It's okay. I'll promote you anyway. Kevin's Chaotic Coffee over on the pilled.net.
I will say this. Thank you very much for that. I will say this. If anyone does want to go and look at the old stuff I was doing before my hiatus, I was doing infiltrations into the Democratic Socialists and the far left.
Oh, yes. We're going to, and I don't mean to interrupt, but this week, Kevin, I will get a hold of you. I would like to do another panel about the Democrat Socialists of America and what you found out, and just a little more information. I'm sure Mr. Balderson would probably join in on that panel. Definitely. I'm going to host the damn things. I mean, I can host it and you can just have at it. And I'm sure Mr. Clay would probably be there. Toasty will probably be there, but it is 12:29 Eastern Standard Time. I've been streaming since 11 o'clock this morning with an hour break in between. So, and Ben Balderson up there, he is still worn out from the 4 o'clock in the morning panel that was done this morning. So, folks, we are going to say good night. We bid you adieu.
You still got your closing statements, Ben.
I'm sorry. Mr. Balderson, your closing statement, sir.
Well, I'll start out with Clay.
Why do we always got to start out with him? No, go ahead.
Well, because you got to leave the people in charge last.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I also was on that 4 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever the hell it was, panel. And also did the show earlier with Spin, and then this one. So I am also brutally just beat. But I appreciate everything. Great conversations throughout each and every show. Big shout out to Sarah. She does a wonderful job on running her debates and her panels. I mean, she's really the best, to be honest with you. I've never seen someone who can operate a show like her, and I really appreciate her. But Spin's doing a really great job with his and Balderson, and they're working together too. And I'm now able to work with Spin, and it's really nice, And we're having the hard talks, like Toasty's pointing out that we're having hard talks, but it's really great when Toasty comes up to have these hard talks with us, and for the win, absolutely.
Got to see Toasty tonight, even.
Yes, he cammed up and everything. We got Ant cammed up, we got Toasty cammed up. I mean, hey, You know, it's great.
Moving on up.
We are winning. So, yeah, good to see For the Win as well. Kevin, good to see you. Rogish, it was a pleasure having a conversation with you, getting to the heart of some issues. And I look forward to every panel when we have these talks. So appreciate you guys, and thank you. Oh, and I'll give a shout out to Let's OTVO as well, as I always do, at LETZ OTVO. We do government accountability in Albuquerque, and that's his channel. And right now he's doing a series on a particular story of accountability, some crazy stuff. So if you like that type of content, you like to see the government held accountable, especially on the local level, certainly go check him out. LETZ OTVO on YouTube.
Oh, goodness. That was rough. I'm sorry.
That's it.
Very good. Kevin, any last words from you, sir?
He did it. He did his.
It sounded like Kevin's about to walk the plank right now.
He more just did
any
his,
last words.
Like, damn it, Clay. How is anybody supposed to follow that?
Out his channel. Spin didn't do good with the order on this. He's worn out. He's worn out and delirious.
Yes. All that.
Time for the stretch out.
Yes.
All right. For the win. Any last words from you, sir?
Yeah, I think tonight was fun, and like Clay, like Ben and Spin, we're fucking tired from last night's debauchery and everything. That was a long one, and I don't know how the hell I only got a couple hours of sleep before we went on this morning either, too. So it's been a long day, but it's been fun here and everything. So final comment I have, did you guys see what Trump said about the Kennedy Center and the judge that struck him down? Did you guys see that in this post? Yeah, another rogue judge.
Oh, yeah.
There. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that over on America Rising. Yeah. Some liberal dumb fuck judge said that Trump can't have his name on the Kennedy Center. Yeah.
Yep, it's that he's not allowed to take part in the renovations or do any of that stuff and everything. So it sounds like he wants to be gloves off and then hand it back to Congress and make them deal with it and everything. But I actually did a dig into the Kennedy Center, and I can tell you human trafficking, sex trafficking, the whole 9 yards as to the whys with it. So I know this is more of like a panel stream and everything, but I think I could do a quick summation of it. And I think that would be an absolute fire topic because nobody's going to be talking about what I've got here. So
nice.
Yeah, that's what I got. So good night, guys.
Night, brother. Toasty, what you got to say, sir?
Yeah, actually, I really wish that I had gotten trade punches with Captain Tazarayuki, but unfortunately I didn't, and I'd like to clear up some misconceptions and not misconceptions, but rather deceptions that he was peddling to you all last night, and starting with the quote by Abraham Lincoln, as a matter of fact, to be specific, and that's one I take great offense to that because that's one of my favoriteest presidents ever. But the quote was this. If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it. If I could save it by freeing all... damn it, you phone. If I could do it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. Without freeing any slaves, I would do it. If I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing some, I would do it. And leaving others alone, I would also do that. He was communicating that he was flexible on the issue. And also, he was a very, very strong advocate for sending them all back home, as well as freeing them from slavery. So, Captain Tazarayuki, you can kiss my fucking ass.
I'm dressed more conservative today.
Looking good, Nova.
Thank you. How you gentlemen doing?
When did you get on pilled?
You gave me the link.
I did not give you anything. I would never do something like that.
And why not?
Because he's the angry American.
Yes, I'm the angry American.
Oh, well, I can be the angry female American if you'd like.
My wife's got that covered.
All right, well, I'll play second fiddle to her. How about that?
Oh, went like this. Why not?
I stumped you just a little bit. I'm
And
pretty
we're sorry-
conservative, by the way, and I have a media background, so
We're sorry you didn't make it earlier, Nova Star. We were
Me
just
too.
doing our end statements, but we'll give you extra time to air
We'll
out.
give her
any of
10
your
minutes.
opinions on
are we getting donos?
would give you extra time to air your opinions on this Chud the Builder situation and the legalities of it.
You know what? Don't, because I'm not familiar with what's going on that one. I was doing woman duties a few minutes ago, so yeah.
Very good, very good.
Yes.
And for myself, it's a very interesting situation. What he was doing, I do believe, was legally protected. Was it smart? No, not necessarily. What this court case then represents is do we get to maintain freedom of speech, or do they get to start picking and choosing arbitrarily words that they've decided that they can criminalize, and through that take away your other rights? And that's a place I absolutely refuse to let the government go. So while I don't approve of his actions, I also can't approve of the state's actions that they are doing in response to it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Nova, did you catch my show today?
I had to leave at the Charlie Kirk part. I have a kid, honey, so I had to put him to bed, get him fed, you know.
No, I mean earlier.
Oh, no, I was busy cleaning up my office streaming room area because I've moved and it was a hot mess. So
listen, my ass is right now and my back is a hot mess.
my neck's killing me. I get it.
I've been in my chair here since what, Ben? This morning, 11:30 my time.
Yikes!
I don't know. I was outside working.
You were hey, I was working too. Okay,
that's why I said outside. I said outside working.
You were touching grass.
Well, I was touching shit and dirt anyway.
There's a dirty joke in there, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Was there corns in there, Ben?
No, we don't. I don't grain feed my cows, so it was just grass-fed shit, and it's my wife's favorite. She's her 7th level of hell is anything that has feces in it, so I get the joy of having to deal with all of it.
We don't like it under our nails.
she's in the background. I hear her saying.
When her and I first got together, and this is a farm, and so literally everything has some kind of smear of shit on it, you know. And you just get used to it. And anything that touched the dish from here, no, you don't.
We heard that, Christy. We hear everything you're saying.
So any dish that got touched slightly by some kind of poop, she would throw it away. And then when she'd go to town, I'd dig it out of the trash and wash it like fucking crazy lady. We can't afford to buy new dishes all the time. Like, and put it back in the fucking counter. And the best part was I knew after like a few months, it must have struck her that how come we still have dishes? Like, I'd thrown all these things away a couple times. She had to know when I was doing this behind her back. Like,
you know, going back to obviously the breaking news of the day, instead of talking about cow feces and whatever shit you can rub on dishes. Yeah. Anyway, we are, today was a very big protest in New Jersey. I've been watching it even while I was on America Rising Media doing my show. It's playing in the background, and They have now come to new vices. They're starting fires as I'm sending videos to Clay, and like, oh my God, they're starting fires in the middle of the street. They took all the barriers or their bike racks. They put like 300 bike racks together. They're picking the protesters are along this whole line of bike racks, picking them up and slamming them into law enforcement. There was about an hour of that. Obviously the tyrannical chanting. We had the drum corps earlier, then we had the whistle brigade, and then we had Vestifas that go ahead, Kevin, go ahead.
The dildo shakers. We had the dildo shakers.
Yes. We had the dildo shakers.
Rubber dicks.
Yes.
Oh my God.
They were out there, and I'm not talking about, these were some small motherfuckers. These things were like jumbo fucking size.
They were
out there shaking these motherfuckers at people. I mean, I'm like, really?
Didn't we start out with a never-ending story?
Oh, yes, a never-ending story. And then we had the Beak Patrol out. And let me tell you, this motherfucking Beak was out here. I am by no means exaggerating.
Don't you look at the picture? I don't know anything by Beak either.
You mean his nose, his schnoz?
You know the crystal. What's that movie that's like
the Dark Crystal?
The Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal.
That
Skeksis.
Yes, the big.
Yes.
Oh, so basically, but what he was probably representing, honestly, what she was probably representing, giving the hand to that was kind of modeled after the 15th century surgeon masks. Some of those had the long nose that were,
really?
where you would go into like the plague areas and whatnot. That's a plague mask.
Yeah.
Well, okay, whatever. But and just under it, she had the Israeli garb. And Kevin, I think you called out what she was wearing. You know what I'm talking about?
She was wearing the Palestinian colors. She had the keffiyeh. Her mask was also a leather and steel grommet fetish plague doctor's mask in the steampunk style. So it was quite
ornate. She had some money.
She had some money or a lot of debt.
Steampunk's expensive.
Theatrics. I like it. Okay.
Very, very.
I mean,
and a large pink carnation for some reason. Because
she had to put a touch of pink in there.
You'd think she would have had a rose, but instead of a rose, she had a large pink carnation, of which the symbolism I couldn't place the symbolism of that. She had a lot of messages going on in this outfit.
Speaking of messages,
further forward. Your background's cutting it out.
Yeah.
I still don't know the message. Like,
He
I
needs
mean,
a
I know
green
they were
screen.
out there and chanting and stuff, but I still don't know the message.
I have a question. How many protesters did it take to lift one bike rack?
Oh, there was probably 50 of them.
To lift one?
No. This was a long line of them. Mind you, they're all metal shackles.
They zip tied them all together, and then the protesters duct taped them all together. So the ice agents
like a battering ram type thing.
Yes. Yeah.
The carnation historically means it's an anti-war sentiment, a way to humanize the protest.
Okay.
Interesting.
Also, it goes nicely with a plague doctor mask.
Yeah,
of course.
Very.
Of course. You
Better
know,
than dirty diaper, I guess.
I'm sure there was plenty of dirty diapers out there tonight.
Probably.
And then, you know, they're tear gassing people. Then they're shooting fireworks back at the police. In turn, was hitting protesters or their comrades. And if you noticed, I was laughing a lot. I was seeing this, and they're trying to do everything and anything to get rid of these people. Hi, Mrs. Balderson. Hi, Mrs. Balderson.
Hi, Miss Balderson.
Hello.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yeah.
That's the cue. Ben's going to bed and getting lucky. Everybody, thanks for coming
Lucky
in.
man.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. You guys can
Night.
stay here. We can talk backstage for a little bit if you'd like.
Love
Benjamin
you guys.
Balderson is going to sleep. Wait for the outro. We'll see you in a few minutes. Until next time, America, good night.
Spin City. Spin City on the screen, got the room on 10. Breaking news, panel smoke, then he does it again. The bass in the morning, debauchery at night. He steps in loud and he don't back right. Clip it, post it, watch the chat explode. One more take, then he takes the road. He talks that talk with a grin and a stare. If the other side's talking, he already there. Hold up, here he comes. Hands in the air, let the verdict come. No more hush, no more shade. Spin City live and the whole place sways. Spin City, Spin City. He don't play it safe. Spin City, bringing fire to the face. MAGA on the mic, and he says what he means. Spin City, shaking up the scene. Panels in a circle, everybody wants a turn. He leans in hard, let the hot takes burn. Protest on the ticker, riot in the thread. He talks over.